Bill, are we all ready for the television? Okay, thank you. Everyone ready? Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Virginia City Council Chambers. Welcome all of you here today for the topics that are of importance to you. I will call this meeting to order. Today's date is Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. The time is 4 p.m. Pam, would you please take the roll call?
Counselor Johnson is absent. Motley?
Here.
Paulson?
Present.
Beyondich?
Present.
Bachschneider?
Here.
Skelko?
Here.
Cuffey?
Present. Would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? If you have a cap, please remove it as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to be cognizant of everybody's time and their presence here today, some of the subject matter I'm assuming you're here for is way down on the agenda. So we are going to deviate from the agenda this evening. We are going to go to the consent agenda first, which takes a minute or two. Then we'll go to the public forum, and then we'll move item 8.7 and 8.8 regarding the resolutions for RFPs for police and fire services, and discuss it at that time, and then you'll have the opportunity to stay or leave if you choose to do so. And as the public forum comes to being, we would ask that you please try to maintain a professional quorum. I know this is a very emotional time for many of you here today, particularly those who are employed by our city. And so I need to remind you that we need to be professional in the way we approach things, and I'm sure you will be. Secondly, if you have a group of people that you're here for, I would ask that one of you step forward and speak for the group. And you'll have 5 minutes to speak and address the issue that you have. If you're a citizen of Virginia and you're representing a small group of people, I would ask you to please designate a representative to come and speak on your behalf. If you're an individual, we'll have you come in as an individual moving forward, and we'll try to give everybody 5 minutes in that regard. So thank you for your patience and understanding as we try to get through this meeting in a very professional and efficient manner. The following items will be enacted by one motion unless a councilor or a citizen of the City of Virginia requests that the item be considered separately. Item 5.1 is the approval and correction of the minutes of the June 9th, 2026 council meeting. Item 5.2 is approve pay estimate 1 to Casper Construction for the 16th Avenue culvert reconstruction in the amount of $169,338.20. Item 5.3 is approve pay estimate 25 to Kraus Anderson for the Public Safety Center in the amount of $179,606.89. Item 5.4 is approve the following travel request. Approval for Detective John Swenson, to attend the following. 5.4A, the final financial crimes, October 21st through the 22nd in 2020 in Brainerd at a cost of $498. He is a newly appointed investigator for the City of Virginia Police Department. Item 5.4B, also to attend search warrants on October 6th, 2026 in Duluth, Minnesota at a cost of $150. Item 5.5 is to approve their Iron Range Rotary Club to conduct a raffle on September 17th, 2026 at the Event Center. Item 5.6 is approve the following transient merchant licenses. Item 5.6A, Berry Lane doing business as Street Tacos and Eats. Item 5.6B, Rachel Marco doing business as I Heart Cookies, a one-day only. And finally, item 5.7, approve the list of election judges for the 2026 primary and general elections. These are the consent agenda items before the council today. Looking for council action.
So move.
Councilor Bachschneider moves to approve the consent agenda, supported by Councilor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I'll move back up to item number 4 on the agenda, which is a public forum. This is an opportunity for anyone that would like to address the City Council are welcome to come forward and do so. As you come forward, I would like you to please turn the microphone to green. Please state your name for the record, and welcome to the City Council meeting, and you have 5 minutes.
Hi, my name is Kathy Cady, and I'm a taxpayer in Virginia. It would be a little intimidating to say that you didn't support the police or fire or ambulance, and of course we do. But I'm wondering if a town of 8,000 people can afford all the premium things that we have in this city. I think it's time to look at doing things differently, more affordable. I know that Steve Johnson has said we need a higher levy in this town to pay for what we need, and I couldn't disagree more. There are old people, and I know some of them, they cannot afford to stay in their homes in this town. If the levy keeps going up, they're going to have to leave, and some of them already are. There's a lot of houses for sale in Virginia if you drive around. And then the second thing that I would like to say is I'm very, very supportive of an audit. And what did you call it? What kind is it? Forensic audit. I don't know where we lost $3 million, but I sure would like to know. So that, with my taxpayer money, I can support. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to speak? You're welcome to come forward and do so at this time. Good evening and welcome to the City Council. Please state your name for the
Hi,
record.
my name is Jean Blevins. I live in Virginia.
Welcome.
Before I retired, I was in the insurance industry as a renewal underwriter. So I have a little bit of experience on what changing a fire protection class can do to a homeowner's insurance premium. Okay, so the premium is based on a protection class, and the classes go from 1 to 10. 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. The rate classes are based on your, I got notes here, your fire department, the training, the equipment, the facilities, how it's staffed. Is it a paid employee? Is it staffed 24 hours? Is it volunteer? All of that comes into play in your insurance premium. So people who are worried about maybe paying a little bit more on your property taxes, you better worry about paying a heck of a lot more for your insurance premium. I just got an example from the internet, and it gave an example of, it's just a rough illustration. So let's say it's protection class 5, which is right in the middle. There's not much difference between 4, 5, and 6 areas. So let's say you're in protection class 5, and your home is valued at $200,000. It was stating that your premium could be around $775. Now, that sounds low to me, but it could depend on what you're choosing for your deductible or what other things you have going on your policy. If the fire department is moved, relocated, changed to where your home now becomes a protection class 10, your premium from that $775 would go up to $1,850. That's double. I don't think your property taxes are going to double if you set a levy that will, at least for the most part, cover our necessary security and safety needs in this town. Another situation with insurance is if it goes to protection class 10, your insurance company can adjust how you get your coverage. So right now for protection class 5, you'll get probably what's called replacement cost, which means if you have a total loss, they're going to replace everything based on the current value. They could change it where you get actual cash value, which means you're going to get the depreciation value of whatever you lost. You're not going to get the full value for rebuilding. They could also determine on a protection class 10 that you have to have extremely high deductible. They want to take some of that risk off them as an insurance company and place it on the policyholder. So they could force you to have a $10,000 or deductible on a loss. Worst case scenario, they could also decide they don't want to insure you at all, and you have to go to a, what's the terminology? Well, anyway, it's called like it's an off-market, where they can, they'll write your policy, but they're gonna write whatever coverages that they're willing to give you. They can charge you whatever premium they choose to feel that it's gonna cover any possible risk that if you have a fire, if the fire department can't get there in 3 to 5 minutes like they can now, it's gonna take them 15 to 20 minutes to get there. Basically, they're gonna show up and they're gonna just try and save the surrounding buildings. Your building is gone. So the insurance companies do not want to assume that risk, and you could potentially not have insurance at all. So I'm just letting you know from experience, you're complaining about the levy. Well, granted, you're going to complain even more about your insurance premiums, and you can't call your agent like you call your council and complain that the levy is too high. And your council member could say, well, okay, I'm going to do whatever I can to make a zero levy. They should have been honest and been sympathetic and empathetic and said, I understand, nobody wants to pay more money. I don't want to pay more for gas. I don't want to pay more for groceries, but it is what it is. And just kind of should have indicated that we'll keep the levy as low as possible and maintain our current police, fire, ambulance services. We have an aging community. If somebody is having a stroke or a heart attack, it is critical that they get to you the shortest amount of time. If you have to call an ambulance from another service, who knows where they're located? By the time you get there, the potential for catastrophic damage, brain damage, heart attack damage is there, where our current police and fire are there in minutes, less than 5 minutes. So take that into consideration too. We have an aging population. All of this is important. I would rather pay more gradually on higher taxes than all of a sudden have to pay 3 times as much on my homeowner policy and still not get the protection that I feel is necessary.
Thank you, Jean. I like your shirt.
Thank you.
What does it say?
We support the Virginia Police, Fire, and EMS
Okay, thank you.
extremely.
Okay, anybody else like to speak, please come forward. Please state your name for the record and welcome to the city council meeting.
My name is Tom Werdeman. I'm an engineer with Virginia Fire and a member of Local 390. First, I would like to ask, I passed around some final report stuff. Is that something you would like to review now or at a later time?
I think at a later time, we'll have you or someone of your staff go through that with us together.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay, anybody else that'd like to speak, please come forward and please state your name for the record and welcome to the city council meeting.
Thank you. It's Shelley Jackson, live right in Virginia. I would ask that we could do better in this town regarding blight issues, in particular 604 4th Avenue, the house that's right by where I live. I'm very disappointed that there's been living animals living in this abandoned house with the knowledge of the city, and nothing had been done until last Thursday. The house is an eyesore. It's an embarrassment. People can give directions to my neighborhood by saying, look for the blight house on the alley. And I think that's ridiculous.
I concur with you 100%.
And it's not the only one.
No, we have many.
Very many. If we want to bring new businesses to town and keep people living in town and or wanting to come into this town and live, we want it to be a place that's proud to live in and to look nice, not look like it's Skid Row.
Ms. Jackson, I know I've been to your residence on a few occasions, and your neighbor next door.
Yeah.
And I know what you've been dealing with. We all know what you've been dealing with. It's
Yeah.
been a long and arduous process to go through the legal system, which to get that accomplished. But I know you really We've really had to suffer through the last few years, but we're getting really close for that home to be abandoned and potentially demolished. So
That's good to
getting
hear.
close.
I would also ask that the city does something about the animal issue rather than just letting it be in limbo. You know, we just had a small dog on Saturday that was killed by an unleashed dog. This is not acceptable.
And later on in the agenda today, and we concur, we need to have some animal control, some kind of a contract for some services moving forward. And later on down on this agenda, we have that very issue that we're going to talk about tonight.
Okay. Because the way it's been in limbo has been kind of just ridiculous also.
It's been the only suffering comes from the animals when nothing gets done.
For sure. But now it's becoming a public safety issue also. If we have dogs running at large, how do we know they're not going to attack a small child or an adult with some type and end up with some type of catastrophic injury?
Agreed.
It just long past needs to be taken care of.
Okay. Thank
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
I see Paula, you're here too as well, so thank you for coming this evening. Would anybody else like to speak? Just a reminder, 5 minutes we'd like to limit to if possible. Good afternoon. Please state your name for the record and welcome to the City Council meeting.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jan Mikowski, and I'm here not only as a citizen to support police, fire, and EMS, but I'm a member of the Friends of Virginia Public Safety. Our group has been talking to legislators. We helped get money for the public safety building, and we are fully in support of all of the public safety services in Virginia. And I do have a lot of my friends here that are here, if they wouldn't mind standing up.
Friends of Public Safety, please stand up. Thank you.
We hope that the decision is made to keep the services as they are. I read a lot of stories on Facebook this afternoon about mismanagement, and it seemed to be trying to blame it on police, fire, and EMS, and that is totally, totally wrong. And I hope that the city does make the decision to keep the services. We are an aging community, and we need quicker services than would be afforded if we did not have our people in the town. So I hope you make the right decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Good evening. Please
Good
state
evening.
your name for the record.
My name is Rachel Strasser. I live in the city of Virginia.
Okay.
I don't have an agenda, but I'm going to try to make this as quick as I can. As a business owner downtown, I came to this area 5 years ago. I own the Veterans Thrift Store, and we've been phenomenally blessed by this community, being able to give out donations, help those in need. I cannot even fathom that this would even be something that we're talking about on the city of getting rid of these guys or outsourcing or having them be farther away. I've had the back of my building vandalized. I've had a fire set in the front of my building last summer. And I just want to ask you guys, is this something where you want Minneapolis? Because that's exactly the route this town is going. Let's move them all out and we'll just let it happen in the cities. I lived in the Twin Cities my whole life. I am irate. My customers come to me, they're irate with this. The financial situation, I don't know. We need that audit. And I don't know the credentials enough. I'm new to the community, but I plan to be here and to learn a lot more as to what is the background and credentials for somebody to be city administrator, for somebody to be the finance director. I mean, is this a job anybody can do? I mean, if you look at what it calls for you to do, you're managing the city, you're managing our finances, there has to be some type of background and credentials to support that. And maybe there is, Justin. I don't know, you kind of smirking at me, so I'm just gonna call it out. So I don't know, but I have young kids here, and we are trying to get people back. I'm very passionate about this. That's all.
Thank you, Rachel. Okay, would anybody else like to address the council? Okay, thank you. Another nice shirt there.
Hi, we make 'em.
Please state your name for the record and welcome to the council meeting.
Hi, my name is Julie Simic, and I own Munsters Inc., and we do a lot for the police and the fire departments. They are a great group of people, compassion. I'm on a fire department myself, so when she was talking about the response time, I'm in Central Lakes. By the time we get to the house, we are protecting the propane tank. We are making sure everybody's out of the house. We're protecting the outbuildings. Everything is gone. Business and people, just everything is so expensive, whether it's personal, your family, your business, whatever. So if we have, that's going to affect our insurance on our big building, the people that, we employ, and it's going to affect so many people that use us as a business, and we support them 100%. And we need to, instead of bashing these kind of things and saying they take too much money, they have a new building, well, there's times that we need to build new and upgrade, and that's what the building was. So why would we build a building that's so expensive and then talk about disbanding them? To me, that doesn't make any sense. And, I don't know all the financial, but, maybe the community has to do fundraisers and, try to be together instead of trying to tear each other apart. Stand more together and work together as a community, because everything is hard and we all live together. We need to kind of play nicely together. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Okay, would anyone else please like to address the council? Please come forward. Good afternoon. Please state your name for the record and welcome to the city council meeting.
Jeff Nelson, Virginia resident. I guess when you can live long enough to see things come full circle, it's happening right now. I was on the public safety with Jan. Jeff Dam was with the fire department. Lyle Vandervoort, Ed Clark, we grew up with that. Somebody wanted to get rid of the fire department. And it's like, how do you want to get rid of a full-time department, dedicated employees that can dispense drugs, life-saving drugs? Okay. I got to quit. But to go with something, and in fact, just a week ago, I had to use them. And we're located right across almost the alley from the fire department. I had just a severe back pain. The gentleman came in. I'm screaming. There's no alleviation of the pain. And they were able to start an IV. They gave me some ketamine. And after that, I have no recollection of what happened. But if we go to something other than that, with where these people are educated, dedicated, I just don't think we're going to get the service, that we have right now. And these people have given their lives, for the city, so that we can be better. And I think it'd be a grave mistake to let them go. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Sir, good afternoon. Welcome. Please state your name for the record.
My name's Bob Gregorich. I live in Mackinnon, Minnesota. Your ambulance service comes out to us. I was a first responder there for 28 years, and anytime your ambulance came there, it was a breath of fresh air. On July 27th of 24, they had to come to my house. My son passed away.
Very sorry for your loss.
But they were so professional. And I know, because I've worked with Jeff Dam, he's trained me when I was a first responder way back when. And I know you guys are good and they do a professional job and they're very nice to the people. And it'd be a heartbreak to get rid of this group of people here. And I think you should keep them. So that's about all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Okay, anyone else like to address the council this evening? It's been a long time, Frank.
Yeah,
Please
how are
state your-
you?
please
My
state-
name is Frank Rourke. I live in the city of Virginia. I've been here about 17 or 18 years. I worked for Virginia Fire Department from, well, over 15 years, from 2007 until I got diagnosed with cancer that was deemed possibly due to the career there. I also worked in private EMS in Rochester, Minnesota for 5 years prior to coming here. And the main reason for moving back to the area was quality jobs and working at a city where you could have a quality job, raise your family, rely on a pension, be part of a community, a small community, and be part of a group. And I was union president for over 10 years. I know many of you. I've been in many meetings with you. And my stance as union president was if we take care of the community, they'll take care of us. So it's nice to see all of you here, standing here, showing some support for us. I can tell you from being on private EMS that if your thought is they're going to rent the public safety center, that's a no-go. They're going to sit at the hospital, and it'll be a system status management where they drive around the area. You'll have 1 or 2 ambulances in town, while 1 ambulance is in Duluth on a Duluth transfer. The other one may be responding to emergency. Now your entire city, 700 square mile service area will be sent over to Evelyn ambulance or Hibbing ambulance, and the response times will be even longer. I've been on the department where we've had multiple fires in one day at the same time. If you have a paid-on-call fire department, I don't know if they could handle that. We do rely on Mount Iron and Evelyn often for assistance, which we are very grateful for them. We go over and help their communities out. This is communities taking care of each other. I understand the budget is always an issue. However, oftentimes the enterprise fund and the ambulance help subsidize our wages, our benefits, and we do cost money, but it's a public service. It's not a business to make money. I would ask that you not send out this RFP, that I think it's a bad idea. I think you can see from the amount of people here speaking tonight, they also feel it's a bad idea. Our guys and gals are highly trained. They're involved in the USAR team. They're firefighters. They're paramedics. They're EMTs. They're some of the most professional people that I've worked with. They care about the community, and the community cares about them. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Okay, anyone else like to address the council this evening? Okay, thank you. I'll be quick. Okay, please come forward. Please state your name for the record, Jeff. And
Jeff Dam. We're the only Dam family in town. Started at the age of 7 on the Detroit Fire Department. I was a house mouse and went into the Air Force to be a firefighter. So I served in Duluth, worked for private ambulance services, came up here, got on the Virginia Fire Department. I was the first firefighter paramedic, did 27 years, and I served my time as a city councilor, which was not easy, I understand. When I started, we did 700 calls a year. When I left, we were doing over 3,000 calls a year. I don't know what they're doing now, but it's got to be a lot more than that. We had 2 ambulances, now they're up to 6. And my big fear is every time that this starts, this kind of talk, we lose good people, very good people. And they'll never come back. And that's the sad part. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dam. Good afternoon, sir. Please state your name for the record and welcome to the city council meeting.
Thank you. My name's Brian Levick. I live at 811 8th Street North here in Virginia. And I'm totally against any cuts to public safety, fire, EMS, police. Everybody's read about what the issues are coming up. wasn't their fault. And also, I'm sure you've looked at it, but your LGA money that comes in, you cut the fire department, cut the police department, LGA gets cut. I'm sure somebody's already spoke about ISO rating. You know, more commercial properties actually than probably residential. Then talking about going to a combination department. I don't know if anybody here has ever had to use fire department, EMS, or police, but if you gotta wait longer than the 3 to 4 minutes that it usually takes for them to respond, and if you go to a combination department, it will take longer. You just think about that, 3 minutes, your house is burning, hopefully nobody's inside. And if they are, then whatever people show up, they gotta go right in, and they don't have any backup, so they're putting themselves at a lot more danger. So I totally support fire, EMS, and police. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, would anyone else like to address the council this evening? Last call. Yes, please. Teresa, thank you very much for coming to the council meeting. Please state your name for the record and welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Teresa Applewick. I'm the president and CEO of the Laurentian Chamber of Commerce. Excuse me. I've been in a rush on the way over here. I did prepare my remarks because you all know how my brain works. So the Laurentian Chamber of Commerce is following tonight's City Council discussion on ambulance, fire, and public safety services closely because the outcomes affect every business and property owner in our service area. We start with the fact a fully staffed, well-equipped fire department is not just a public safety asset, it's an economic infrastructure. Insurance underwriters use the ISO public protection classification excuse me, to set commercial and residential premiums, and that rating is built directly from fire department staffing, equipment, training, and response capability. Strong rating keeps insurance costs predictable. A downgraded rating raises premiums for every business and homeowner in the region. Thank you. Sorry, thank you. Immediately and without a vote. This isn't an abstract concern for us. On Chestnut Street alone, the 103 parcels in our downtown investment district with storefront doors has seen a combined investment market value grow from $5.24 million in 2024 to $10.93 million today. A 109% increase in 2 years, with property tax and assessments up 34% over that time period. That growth comes in just our assessments, but some of that is real private investment, business renovations, reoccupying, and insurance buildings on the bet that downtown Virginia is moving in the right direction. Every one of those bets depends on stable insurance costs, which depend on the fire department's rating. We also recognize the issue about regional cost sharing. Virginia Fire Ambulance Service cover a response area far larger than the city itself, and it's reasonable to ask whether the communities benefiting from the coverage are contributing their fair share. We support the council's direction. We encourage the council to move the data into real conversations with neighboring communities. Fair share funding protects the services without asking Virginia taxpayers and businesses to carry your regional costs alone. What we would caution against is treating service reductions or outsourcing as a first option before the data in those cost conversations are complete. The chamber just asks that you continue to support a full-service department. We know that many of you are business owners and participate in commerce here in the city yourselves, and thank you for opening up public discussion tonight. Thank you for the water.
Thank you, Teresa. Okay, would anyone else like to address the council this evening? Okay, last call. Okay, thank you. We are going to deviate from the agenda right now, and we're going to move toward the end of the agenda, to item 8.7 and 8.8. 8.7 is a request to approve the seeking of request for proposals, RFPs, for the ambulance service. Is there a motion to do so?
Motion
Motion by Council Skelko to seek RFPs for the ambulance service. Is there support? Is there support?
Support for discussion.
Support for discussion. Further discussion. First, Councilor Skelko, then Councilor Motley. Councilor Skelko.
Yeah, and I'm going to lump these three together while I talk here. I know this is it's something. Let's go with that. So first and foremost, I want to look at every one of you guys and girls and everybody in here. This is nothing to do with how you do your jobs. We know you're fantastic. Marty, I've known you for 30 years, 40 years, whatever it's been. This is nothing personal to how the city's operating. We do not think that you guys are doing a bad job. We know you go above and beyond. We know you carry a load that is so much bigger, so much more than just Virginia. Here's the problem we're running into. We have a operating budget of over 75% staffing right now. This is a situation that we're in Virginia, which is it's a serious issue. We have to find solutions and options and ways to navigate this down below 60% so we can start investing and bringing people back. We're not going to bring business here, guys, when we keep jacking the rates of the property taxes. We're going to keep dwindling and dwindling. If you look at the population over the years, it's been a gradual decline from 1990. There was a big jump there. Then it's been a gradual year after year after year. If we do what we're going to have to do, which is going to be a 20 to 30% levy on this town just to maintain what we have today without change, what's the population going to be? We're going to drop below 6. Like, we are going to chase people out of their houses. So first, I wish you guys could have seen the email that I sent to propose what we're doing. Not once did I say at any point that I want to cut the fire department, that I want to downsize, the hybrid. What I have been fighting for is let's investigate solutions to the problems we're facing in Virginia head on. We can't make decisions. I can't make a decision. Nobody here can actually make a real decision until we have black and white in front of us saying, okay, we have 3 options. What are they? What is the best way to do it? Money's not all of it, guys. Money is not all of it. We have to look at the services. She brought up the insurances. This is all stuff that we have to investigate, that we have to budget, but we can't do that without answers. So what I'm asking for is simply exploring ideas of how can we bring Virginia back. I have plans, I have ideas that we can do in the future, but there's nobody is going to invest in our city if we keep chasing people out of rates. We talk about houses that are blight. It's only going to double. Like, we raise the taxes another 20, 30%. The calls I hear yesterday about kids running down the street unattended, this is going to become natural. This is going to become every day. It's all day, every day. Like, we have to turn the page to a new direction in this city. How do we do it? I don't know the answer to that. I don't think anyone here knows the answer to that, but we have to explore every option. So I want you guys to know that I support everything you do. I will fight for keeping you guys. Fire department, if something was ever to change, there is not a single employee that I would say fire at any point. We're not going to downsize. We are going to extend it. You guys will be the last class of full-timers with some paid on call. Like, we'll find a solution. We don't know what that is, but we can't come up with a solution unless you guys work with us to come up with some answers. Like, what are some ideas? I can tell you now, we have 16 cities in the whole state of Minnesota are a full-time fire department. We have 92 combined. We have 365 paid on call and 295 volunteer services. Virginia, the smallest full-time of them all. We cover a lot of ground, so what I'm gonna push this council, guys, and I'm pushing for you guys. I wanna make your salaries go up. I know a lot of you are working on salaries that are less. Like, we gotta find a solution to make it better, but I don't know what that is until we explore the options of how we get there. And the only way I can get there is by pushing this, making this very uncomfortable for people. This isn't the first. This is 1, 2, and 3 of 20 things that I'm gonna try to bring to the city to test, to push, to say, okay, what do we need to cut? Where do we need to go? There's so many avenues that we gotta take that we have to explore to get to where we need to get to make it sustainable for all of us. Do I wanna cut any services? Hell no, I don't wanna cut any services, man. Like, you guys rock. I have respect for all of you. You guys do a fantastic job. Cloquet in 2009 went to a regional setup. Now that is where I want to push this city. I want to open the doors, start having open communications with the people around us. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to push for it. If that's a mayor thing, if it's a city administrator thing, I'll find out. But Cloquet has got a really good system going right now, combined. And what happens? We share the expenses with the communities surrounding us. We don't take on the burden. Like, you know, we run to Cook, we run to Evelyn. When I did it, it was 79% of the calls were in town, 21% out of town. We're paying 100% of it. We can't keep putting the burdens on the taxpayers day after day after day, expecting them to be able to maintain you said you want to come into a Virginia that's clean. We're not going to be clean. It's going to get dirtier, it's going to get harder, and it's going to get tougher. And it's a reality we have to face, and it sucks. And it's a time that we have to come together, work together, come up with solutions together, and figure this out. I promise you there is not anybody in here that I want to take their job away. Absolutely not. I want to find a solution. I want to work with everybody from the police to the ambulance to everybody with everybody and figure out the right path forward that doesn't include just bringing the levy down to, or the operating budget down to a sustainable future. You know, we look at what happened in Virginia. Is it from 1920s was our high of 15,000. From that day, it's gone down, 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 down. We're at 8,200. I guarantee you if this levy passes, or if we have to levy 20, 30%, it's going to go down again and again and again. And at what point do we concede? There's a point where, guys, I heard in a meeting 2 weeks ago that we're going to be out of money in September. Tonight I heard maybe November. What happens then? Whether you're a union guy, whether you're a salaried person, if we don't have if the well runs dry, no one makes money. State comes in, and then what? Does anybody here really want the state to take over our city? I don't. I want to work with every department. And I'm going to tell you now, today is just step one. Next week will be something different. We're going to explore every option that is the best for the city as a whole, for everybody, to make it right. And I hate that it's you guys today. I hate that we have to do it. Again, everything I said in the email to get this on the agenda was exploratory only. I have in my head what's going to work. I have ideas that might work, but they're just in my head and they're ideas. I don't know if that's going to actually work. That's why I brought this to the table, so I can get these ladies to go to work and say, all right, let's go. Let's figure this shit out and let's move forward and get this stuff going. So I promise you, I'm not against you. I don't disrespect anybody. I'm not saying, I'll just get rid of them. This is so simple. This is the crappiest thing I have to do. I've been here for 6 months. I've seen the debacle. I didn't create the problem, but I will be here to fix it with you guys and make sure everybody in this room has a place to be at the end. So I'm encouraging us to simply explore every option available. It is needed. The taxpayers are crying for us to do something different. Time is now. We can't wait another year, and levying is not the answer. We cannot levy our way out of another situation. We have to get down and dirty, get real about every single department in this place and make it better. So I want you all to know I'm hearing you. I swear I'm not against anybody here, and I'm not doing this to be a big bad wolf. I'm doing this to better the whole Virginia, the whole community, and everyone else. And I really hope Mountain Iron and Fayal and everyone else around is listening tonight, because this is serious stuff. What happens if this happens? How is their service going to be affected? Well, maybe now's the time to bring us all together, get together, start talking about regional level stuff. We have to share the burdens. I love that we have this. This is part of Virginia's heritage. It's our history. This is who we are. But we can't continue down a road as we continue to decline in population and businesses are leaving. And we are not. I know everyone says, oh, we can grow. No, we're not. It's a reality. We are not going to grow businesses if we keep jacking property rates. There are so many empty buildings, like we can't. And I want to. I came back here and I want to stay here, but at what cost? So, guys, I encourage us all, we're not here to make any decisions. I don't care if it pencils out and something saves us $500,000. Well, good, we're gonna look at what we talked about with the insurance. We're gonna look at what it does for the service. We have to find that happy new ground moving forward. We can't just keep running down the path of 1960, 1970, 1980. It's 2026, things are changing, we have to change with them and make some hard decisions. I don't know what those decisions are. I promise I will work diligently to get us to where it is. I'll push everybody here as hard as I can, but we have to do something. That's all I got. So, thanks.
Counselor Motley?
I did support this right off the bat just because you never gave us a moment to have a discussion, so this is me discussing. I had asked our clerk to look at the state of Minnesota, and, well, first of all, before I even talk about that, I just want to say, and I've said this before, I think our police, fire, EMS are, if not, the best employees we have in the city, hands down, period. So before I even start talking about anything else, as far as cities across the state, I asked Pam to look up who's our clerk. Is there any city remotely close to the population of Virginia that has a full-time police? And it's not even, I'm not even going to talk about the police. This is just fire and ambulance. Is there anybody in the state of Minnesota with our population that has a full-time ambulance and fire department? And what was the answer to that, Pam? 0, besides Virginia. Okay? Our population is declining. I am 100% for our law enforcement. We are not cutting anything. It's a potential possibility to look for RFPs. Contrary to the Book of Faces, as I call it, misinformation, lies, and everything else that goes on the alerting the citizens of the Iron Range, we're running out of money. We're running out of money. Our tax base is declining. This is not retaliation. I did not put this on the agenda, but I have said in meetings past, if anybody watches the meetings, the taxpayers that is, I'm not against RFPs to see what it might look like. That's not to say we're going to go with it. It's trying to be responsible with the taxpayers' money because it is less and less. People are leaving. I mean, look at the city. It's not good. So anyway, I had the closest cities to Virginia that have anything remotely what Virginia has, which they don't, is New Prague. Population 8237. Volunteer fire, part-time ALS ambulance. Okay. City of Albertville, population roughly 8,700 and growing. None. No ambulance, no fire department. Detroit Lakes, population 10,000-ish. 1 full-time fire chief. Volunteer firefighters. And the ambulance is ran by the hospital in town. The next closest to us, Wyoming, Minnesota, population 8,087. No full-time fire department or ambulance service. Paid on-call fire, Fairview runs the ambulance. And then the last one I have that's remotely close to us, St. Francis, population 8,372. No ambulance. And some full-time fire. That was the response we get. So I'm not quite sure what that means, but some full-time fire. The city of Virginia is roughly 19 square miles. Very small. Small. The tax base is decreasing. These are all the communities that were given to me that the taxpayers of Virginia, not anybody else, the taxpayers of Virginia pay for. Angora by Wavick Township, Britt, Cherry, Clinton, and I apologize if I slaughter some of these names. I don't even know some of these names. Colvin, Embarrass, Fale, Forbes, Gilbert, Great Scott, Iron, Kinney, Mackinnon, McDavid, Melroot, Mountain Iron, Pike, Sand Lake, Sandy, Virginia, Worry, Zim, International Falls, Alongo, Angora, Ash Lake, Aurora, Beatty by Wabick, Breeding, Bike, Cook, Cotton, Crane Lake, Eagles Nest, Ellsberg, Evlith, Guinea, Greenwood, Lading, Meadowlands, Net Lake, Orr, Sturgeon, Tower, Lake Vermilion Lake, whatever. How much are the taxpayers of Virginia supposed to pay for all of this? Our response in the city of Virginia is 19 square miles. We are paying for everybody else. 640 plus square miles. 600 plus more than our square footage of our city. How is that fair? Is it possible that, and I have no idea, is it possible when you reach out for an RFP that when it downsizes and if, hypothetically, somebody gives you an offer, which you don't know anything until you actually reach out for an RFP, how do you know what things look like without looking? And is it possible that the service would just cover Virginia, the actual tax base? The taxpayers of Virginia pay for the full-time employees 24/7. We pay for all the equipment. We pay for the insurance. We pay for everything. One simple ambulance ride by an unfortunate patient doesn't cover anything. And now we have a $3 million ladder truck we're supposed to pay for this year, at the end of the year, levied onto the taxpayers of Virginia, and our debt levy is so bad, which means our interest rate is terrible, which makes the money you take out that much worse for the taxpayers of Virginia. That's kind of where I'm just kind of in limbo about if I'm going to support this or not. We're going belly up financially, so one way or another, if nothing happens tonight, it's going to happen in the future. I don't anticipate, in my opinion, that this city will have a full-time fire and EMS in 40 years when that major public safety building is finally paid off, $1 million a year to the taxpayers of Virginia, being levied right now, or, bonded. It's not feasible. There's a reason nobody in the state of Minnesota, besides us, has what we have, and we're very fortunate to have it. That is not where I'm trying to say, oh, because we have this, it's terrible. It's the fact that things are so expensive right now. Our tax base is decreasing, the costs are rising, and at what point is there a breaking point? Because we just have 1% sales, or 1% sales tax that disappeared too, and we're trying to figure that out. And this has nothing to do with retaliation on our first responders. I just want to make that very clear. This is going to be a topic. There's going to be other topics to come going forward across the whole city because we're out of money. So I said this in meetings past. I don't say this lightly because I think you guys are our best. But it's not getting rid of you. It's not getting rid of you at all. It's to look at what might be. It's not saying that's what it's going to be, but I don't know how you can continue to run the city in the way it's being run right now, and we're going the wrong direction. So I will more than likely continue to support
most RFPs to see what it might look like. So that's, I guess, where I stand at this point. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to have the comment before we go to Councilor Johnson. The city is not going belly up. Financially, we have some challenges, no question about that. We've had financial challenges in 2008, 2012, 2016, 2018, and we continue to have those challenges. Set aside the fact that we had a 0% levy in 2025 and a minus levy in 2026, not even enough to cover the cost of the rising expenditures that we have in the unfunded mandates. Let's set that aside for a moment and talk about this particular issue is a request for proposal, which isn't the way to go, in my opinion, and I will never support it. And the reason I won't support it is because we talked about solutions. Councilor Skelka talked about solutions, looking for other opportunities. There are other opportunities. It's a shared services. The shared services, we talked about Cloquet. Cloquet has a taxing district where they have a combination of different communities together. That particular taxing district, they have a taxing district. They have the right to levy taxes to the taxpayer without the consent of the cities, and they do that. And they've raised their taxes in order to operate the cost of the taxing district. So that's not even an issue to talk about a comparative of what we have here and what they have in Cloquet. The second part of this is the fact that we have the taxing authority already under the Minnesota statute for the 414 statutes. The problem with the 414 statute is that we can levy a tax to all the other communities that we serve. And all those communities that was mentioned by Councilor Motley. And we can do that, but it's taxation without representation. In other words, these communities have to acquiesce. They have to pass an ordinance, or they have to pass a motion to allow us to tax their citizens X amount of dollars a year to provide ALS, Advanced Life Support Ambulance Service, not BLS, not basic life support, airway, breathing, circulation, but actually paramedic supports that can actually save somebody's life. And I don't really care, from a personal perspective, of what other communities do. I live in Virginia, Minnesota, and the reason I live here because it's for the police and fire service, for the health and safety of our community. We have to figure it out. There's other ways to do it instead of going out for an RFP. We've tried on a number of occasions. I think Mr. Dam can attest to that, and the others that maybe that are in this room tried significantly. I think a former Councilor Don Sipple is in this room, very cognizant and very aware of what's going on in the city of Virginia and how he keeps us on the pulse of things. The issue for us is that we have to find a way in which to have these shared services agreements, get the Quad Cities to come together, not just with ambulance service, but with police and fire. Now, there's a litany of information that I can provide right now, but it would take me a half hour to go through all of this. But the bottom line is this. My position is that we have to protect the health and safety of the community. I want, like what happened to my father and other family members, an ambulance that can respond within 4 to 6 minutes to a house to save somebody's life. That's what I want. And so working with the state legislature to try to get those 414 statutes changed, we've tried that. We went to the EMS. There was a study in 2002 by the Department of Health about the critical problems with ambulance service in rural Minnesota. Did the legislature act on it? No, it was this thick. No action was taken. There was another study in 2013, another study in 2021, another study in 2023, and finally, the legislature came up with some money. $120 million was proposed at the state legislature. At the end of the legislative session, through the governor's office and their staff, they reduced that to $24 million to be spread out over all the rural ambulance services in northeast Minnesota, southeast Minnesota, all across the state. But the city of Virginia, because of our ambulance service and the rating that we have and the professional decorum that's exhibited and all the accolades that's come from the state level, because I went down there and testified on a number of occasions about how difficult ambulance is. We now have a Sprint medical program. There's two, one in the south, one in the north. It's a hybrid part of ambulance service that being provided in rural Minnesota, northeast Minnesota, and it's staffed by our professional paramedics, paid for by the state of Minnesota. on a pilot program that ends at the end of 2027. At the end of 2027, there'll be another surge in which to find a way in which to provide money to help offset the costs associated with any ambulance service, whether it's ALS, BLS, or any ambulance service that's provided, particularly in rural Minnesota. But the big issue for our ambulance service is the fact that the legislature has to act, and so does the federal government. And we're trying to get out to Washington, D.C. This is another avenue beyond the pale that doesn't come with an RFP, and that is that when I'm going to ask the chief to step, Assistant Chief Jonason to step up, just answer this one question for me. Assistant Chief Jonason, how much are you reimbursed for an ambulance run who's a Medicare patient? And then how much you charge approximately? Chief Frederickson, I didn't see you standing back in the weed patch there.
I'm the operations guy. Chief Frederickson has the Medicare numbers.
Chief Frederickson, if you just answer that question very quickly.
Yes, good evening, everybody. On average, Mayor, to answer your question, Medicare, they reimburse us about 37 cents on the dollar.
Okay, 37 cents on the dollar. So a question for me, for you, is that at 37 cents on the dollar, so what is the percentage off the top of your head? I know it's probably in your annual report. How many Medicare patients we have in ambulance runs? Is that the majority of our patient run?
Absolutely. I just ran that report the other day. We're at 78%, I believe that chart showed. 78% Medicare, Medicaid combination.
So it's the reimbursement issues that we have as well. So an RFP is not going to solve that. And I think historically what we have, and thank you, historically we've had asked for RFPs for ambulance service before. Gold Cross came up back in the day and others. It wasn't cost effective for them to do that because they were providing services that there wasn't enough ambulance runs to be profitable for them. This is a community service that we provide. This is not to make money. This is a critical incident service to protect the health and safety of our community. Yes, we have to find a way to reduce our costs, but an RFP isn't the answer. And we don't even know what we would put in an RFP. What kind of services do we want? We haven't even talked about that. So why is this even on the agenda? It's too premature moving forward. So I'm not going to go any further. There's so many other things to be addressed here today from my perspective, but I will not. And regardless, we'll find a way, a solution, work hard to do that. What Councilor Skalko has indicated, we want to try very hard to try to maintain the level of service. You can't do that with an RFP because you don't know what it's going to be. You don't know what kind of service is going to be provided. We don't know what the RFP is going to be. We don't even know, we haven't even discussed the services that we're asking for. If we want to maintain the same level of service we have, an RFP isn't going to provide that.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to address the council because I think I have some experience in the legislative background.
Well, Mr.
I know I missed the period, but
Mr. Mikowski, come to the podium. Come to the podium. You have a right to speak. 5 minutes. Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, Mr. Mikowski.
You know, Mayor, and I don't want to bring up my previous life, but I guess I'm going to have to. For 24 years, I worked for the federal government. I worked with our congressmen, our 2 U.S. senators, and we worked on Medicare, Medicaid. And I worked with state lawmakers to try to address this problem. This is not a Virginia problem. This is a statewide problem. Talk to the folks at International Falls who serve a 1,000 square mile area and what's happening to them. Talk to the people at Hibbing Fire. Councilor Skalko, with all due respect, studies have been done. The state of Minnesota has spent, I'm going to guess, about $80,000 for 2 studies up here, looking at the possibility of merging Mountain Iron in Virginia and also Gilbert, Eveleth, and Fail Township. Take a look at those studies and what has happened with them and whether they move forward or not. And the bottom line is they have not. They're staying where they are. Eveleth, Gilbert, and Fail are doing some joint training together, but I haven't heard anything, and I get around a lot besides PEPs, and I hear lots of things. And I'll tell you what, we worked darn hard to get Medicare raised You and I have had this discussion, Mr. Mayor.
Many times.
And Virginia and Commissioners, Counselor Motley, you're right. 19,000 square miles, I say 20, is paying for 640. I don't know where that's fair. But I will tell you this. I brought this up to some of our lawmakers and said, is it right? Is it fair that these communities aren't paying? And I'm not going to throw the paid on-call firefighters under the bus, the paid on-call ambulance, because we're all in the same doggone boat. The Medicare reimbursement it's the same. Go up to Cook, talk to them about what's happening with their ambulance service. Ely talked about combining 3 services, Babbitt Ely Tower. See where that went. A lot of this, if you look at the history, and that's what I want to do, as you're looking at this whole thing, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The information is out there. You talk about paid on-call firefighters. Look what's happening in the metro area. They got a ton of people down there, and you know where they're going? They're heading to full-time departments because they can't get volunteers. How much is a paramedic? What is it, a 2-year program now, folks? 2 years, thousands of dollars. You want to go in that? Do you think that's and these people have paid for it, most of them on their own. Thankfully, the state of Minnesota had some insight and paid for their training. But the fact of the matter is that it's tough to get people. Who wants to come to anywhere and suffer this? ALS, I saw this Virginia Fire Department. I had my relatives, my mom and my dad, and relatives, friendly and unfriendly, picked up by this ambulance service. And I'll tell you what, we didn't have, when I was a kid growing up, we didn't have paramedics. We do now. And I'd hate to see that service go away. And we're providing that paramedic service to other communities as well. And I'm just saying, look at, the information is out there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. RFP is not the way to go. To me, it's look at, do this financial audit. Do this audit, look at where the problems are, then go from there.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. I think Councilor Johnson has that on first, and then Councilor Paulson, then Councilor Motley. Councilor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I apologize for being late. Whoever picked up my kid today, thank you. I've got so much going on in my mind, and I want to talk to everybody, not just the taxpayers, because the first seizure my son had was in Evelyn, and it is really hard to consider that the Virginia ambulance wouldn't make it over to Evelyn to pick my son up, who's a Virginia resident. I really need to voice my concern about not going to other communities because they don't pay taxes. My parents live in Britt. The Evergreen Fire Department has pretty much gone away because there's not enough volunteers out there. Getting people to Lake Vermilion when you're snowmobile riding, getting people to Gilbert while you're ATVing, without our professional services, those rescues won't happen in a timely manner. So for me, this is very personal. I made a lot of notes here. I appreciate the mayor pointing out the last 2 years in levies. We have for many years not significantly increased the levy to keep up with our expenditures. We had auditors in here several years telling us you can't keep doing what you're doing, and that keeps getting said in this room, and part of that is not raising the levy appropriately. People are willing to pay for services. This town is not going belly up. I agree with the mayor. People are moving here from the metro because our taxes are low. They are buying houses in the new additions because they're great houses. They're getting a $1 million house in the metro for $400,000 here, and their taxes are a quarter, and they're getting better service. So it really bothers me that folks talk so negatively about this town. I was born and raised here. I love this town. It's all about our attitude and how we move forward. We need to be sustainable, absolutely. I know EMS and fire is on topic, but our police department, who are out in the hallway waiting to be called, are here. we are such short staff with the police department that there are days where the chief and assistant chief are running calls because we have not enough people, because of medical issues, because of vacation, because we can't hire them. The graduating classes over in Hibbing used to be 20 or 30, if I remember right. And now, if we're lucky, there's 5 or 6 folks graduating in the Hibbing Police Department, or police training. So blaming this all on us, on the council, I accept responsibility for what's going on. I accept that our levies have been low. I have not voted for a levy probably in 4 or 5 years because they are not sustainable. It is time to do something, but putting an agenda item on with no discussion was quite the shock value. When I saw that come out last Friday, I was dumbfounded, and I contacted Britt immediately going, what's going on? Discussions need to be had, yes. I had seen a comment about spending money on Sprint Medical. Mayor, you had brought that up. It's actually saving us money by not having to send an ambulance to Tower or to Britt or to Lake Vermilion or to Cotton. It's saving us money because people are there, they're able to assess and then determine whether or not an ambulance with 2 employees needs to drive out. So we are already addressing some of those cost issues as part of the hard work of our staff. And our staff are the ones who are creating these programs, who are looking for solutions, who are actively seeking grants. The Urban Search and Rescue team that we have, Team 2, as it's called, Task Force 2, I believe, that's because of our staff. If someone falls in a mine pit, we have a trained staff that can go and take care of it within minutes instead of waiting for people from the cities to come up. These are the kind of things that will go away with any kind of change in programming. Yes, Mr. Makowski, I appreciate your comments. Another thing that we keep skipping is that large companies like, I'll just call them large box stores, you can see them around the highway, they pay taxes on empty buildings. So the millions of dollars they're taking in every year, we're not getting our cut of that. We're getting a cut of an empty building. And that is a tax loophole at the state that needs to be fixed down there. So there are things that can be done that are out of our purview, but it is something we need to keep pushing for. If you want to see those changes, during the selection cycle, ask the people running, what are you going to do about the empty store? They'll go, I don't understand that. Do some research. Do some research about that. Have them do that research. One of the other things I wanted to point out that would probably go away without having full-time is the training. I have had the privilege to be part of trainings when I've done ride-alongs with both police and fire department. I got to rescue a firefighter out of the Virginia Silver Lake one day as a part of a rescue training. But the people we're providing that to all of our surrounding communities. So if someone falls in Sand Lake because their snowmobile isn't working, we have people from the volunteer departments who are at least aware of what's going on. They're training together. Our department isn't an entity unto itself. They are constantly sharing and changing and doing stuff that we don't know, we don't see, they don't brag about it, it's just what we do. Anytime there's a major fire, look at the coats, look at the fire coats. You will see different color fire coats, and that's because people are coming from Gilbert, Eveleth, Pike Sandy Britt, Mountain Iron, Hibbing, Gilbert, all over. Nobody asks what color their coat is. They don't say, well, sorry, you can't come help us. When there's a major incident, we need all the help we can get. And I don't know, I wish I had more information. I would ask for more information about the other cities mentioned that are also our size, because their demographics are different than ours. The poverty level in Virginia is pretty high. There are many places in town, and it's figured out by the government. Some of those other places, Detroit Lakes poverty level isn't what ours is. Detroit Lakes is doing quite well. They've got a different demographic. Our community is shrinking because there aren't jobs. In the 80s, mining was, you could get a job out of high school. No questions asked, a mining company. Now you have to have a 4-year degree to drive a big truck. There's a lot of things that have changed. So we need to, I appreciate the solutions in moving forward. I appreciate how do we do that. But there are discussions that we need to have with each other and with our communities. making demands on our communities are not helpful. For a long time, Virginia's been the big bad sister, bully, whatever we are, telling people what to do, and that's changing. Our departments work together with other departments regularly, all of our departments. And so I will not support an RFP. I think there's a better process. I think there's a way we can do it. I will not support the cuts, and I will continue to advocate for an appropriate increase in levies every year to make sure we're at least meeting our minimum requirements. It's that simple. If you can't afford stuff at home, you do, absolutely. I live paycheck to paycheck. I get it. But there are times where I have to sacrifice some stuff, and there are times where I know what needs to be done. And I will continue to do my best here. And again, I just want to thank whoever the EMS folks who stopped at the house tonight and took care of my kid and got him back home. He's already back home. So thank you all very much. Thank you, Mayor, for the time.
Thank you, Councilor Johnson. Real quick before we go to Councilor Paulson, I just want to reiterate one fact. 40% of the ambulance revenue covers the cost of our fire service. So 40% takes care of our fire department as well. So that's a consideration to think about as well. Councilor Paulson.
Thank you so much, Mayor. And I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I'm going to be as brief as I can. So the first thing I'm going to do is a little housekeeping issue. I want to state that I am extremely frustrated as to the process of how this got on the agenda in the first place and blindsided this entire council, in my opinion. We have not even had any opportunity to have any discussions with all three of the departments, police, fire, EMS. And to me, that's not wanting to work together. That's just blowing it up. And I feel that was extremely disrespectful, and for that, I want to apologize. After I heard it was on the agenda, I also looked on some Facebook posts and contacted Britt that I wanted the item removed because I thought it was completely inappropriate before we've had any time to have any discussions at all. In the past, and I will not be supporting any of these RFPs. In the past, Councilor Beyondich, and I believe it was Councilor Friedlieb, sat on a shared fire service for, was it 2 years? And along with, I believe, Miss Carolyn, who's in were you on the shared fire service as well or no? Maybe you weren't. I don't know. Anyway, there might be a few others here that were. And some really productive information came from those meetings that both of you would report on. And I believe, Mr. Mikowski, as you stated, there were studies that were conducted that if we want to have meaningful conversations, we should be starting from that point first. So I'd like to just address how we put things on the agenda in the future. That's my housekeeping issue. If we could put that on the next item, or the next, I guess we don't have committee of the whole meetings anymore, but some of the way that
Next working session.
the school board does it is that they meet, the meeting begins, they do the roll call, they look at the agenda, and then they approve the agenda. And things can be pulled off of the agenda if they do not agree with what is on the agenda, if enough votes come forward. So I'd like to see that we discuss how we arrive at our agenda. And then in the past also, we've had which council member has put forward that information. So up until we can get that documentation together, I would like to have whoever is asking or requesting it to be put on the agenda. This completely blindsided me, and for that I apologize to the rest of you here. So my second thing that I'd like to talk about, let me just get the business aspects of this out of the way. So we had received some documentation regarding revenue versus expense and then what the losses are. And what I just want to say is fire and police are not revenue generating services. our tax dollars pay for those services to keep us safe. And the operation of the city is different, in my opinion, than our public safety. Our public safety is paramount to the vitality of the city of Virginia or any community that they serve. So when I look at possibly the revenue, we get dinged in our S&P and our Moody's by our being underwater with the ambulance. And that's something that, it's a bigger problem. It's a bigger problem federal-wide regardless. So, we're doing the best we can do. It would be wonderful to have discussions with other communities to see, and I know Cloquet was a part of that discussion back when the other chief was here. I remember having those conversations. So I feel we do need to have further conversations. And I know Itasca County did something, and Pam and I have had lots of discussions over this, but it was different because Nashwauk gave up their ambulance license to the county, correct? And when Nashwauk did that, the county then stepped in. It was the county commissioners basically that said, okay, we're going to do, but they had public hearings, got public input, and because people didn't want to lose that service, they agreed, hey, we're going to pay and I hate saying the word fair share, but they agreed to pay. So my mom and dad, they moved out to the lake. They're on South Sturgeon, which is the Bimbo's Chain of Lakes. And they're 2 cabins in, and they're Itasca County. And my dad has the property tax statement, and he said, well, what's this $66 for? I'm getting billed for an ambulance because we live on a dead-end road, and if I call 911, we're getting an ambulance from, what is it, up there, Great Scott, or French? I don't know the township, but anyway, our ambulance is coming from there. So why am I getting this charge? And, we kind of had this discussion, but to tax those, it was $66 a year, and that's going to make it all whole. So if we could have this conversation with our 600 whatever mile radius, it might be $10 a year. We don't know what that looks like yet. So rather than go out and say, hey, we want to find something different in an RFP, I say we embrace what we have and try to work forward to make that a different revenue solution. And if that would be the case and that could be accomplished, we could be buying the ambulances cash, no bond payments, no liability, and not no liability, but no burden in terms of a debt levy on the taxpayers. So with that being said, that's the housekeeping and the business end. Now I'd like to humanize this portion for me personally. So when I look at the ambulance service and when we have had to dial 911 as a family, and I might get emotional, we have the most top-notch responders. They are kind, caring, compassionate, and extremely professional. And I thank each and every one of you for any ambulance call that you've ever made with our family, from the bottom of my heart. Second of all, let's talk about the police department. We are a business, can I keep going or no?
The police department is the next item on the agenda.
But I would like to address
Okay,
all
well,
three
please
at
do.
once, if you don't mind.
No, please do, Councilor Paulson.
And then I will refrain from speaking the rest of it.
No, you're fine. No, thank you.
The police department responds in such a professional way for any issues we've ever had at our place of business. They have done a diligent job, have made me feel supported, have made me feel heard, and I want to say thank you to the Virginia Police Department for all the efforts that they have done on my behalf, as well as every taxpayer in the city, in my opinion. Then I'd like to move on to the fire department, and this one is the one that hits me the most. Because if we didn't have the ladder truck that we have, we would have had 2, maybe 4 buildings completely destroyed on Chestnut Street. And that was a most devastating time in our family's lives. It impacted an entire block. The USAR team came and they shored up the building so the floor didn't collapse. The training that we have invested in our in our fire and in our EMS, in my opinion, is invaluable for times of need and times when we call those numbers, those 911 numbers, who is it impacting? It's impacting our loved ones, people, our family, our friends, and our loved ones. So in my opinion, not that I want to raise any levy, but when I look at the upside downness, maybe is only on the ambulance side that we subsidize the ambulance. The rest of it, I'm happy to pay my taxes for the services that I receive, and I'm really honored by all of you being here tonight because it just shows what a wonderful group of solidarity that you guys have. So thank you for that. I will not be in support of any RFPs, but I will be 100% in support of opening up dialogue as soon as we possibly can, forming a team, whatever that might look like, and let's get going and let's try to figure this out together because I really respect you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I have one final comment, but we'll go to Councilor Motley first, and then we'll call for the question, unless there was some other, there's others, I'm sorry, apologize. We'll go from first Councilor Motley, then the Councilor Beyondich, and then over to Councilor Bachschnider. Councilor Motley.
Counselor Paulson is absolutely right. And I'm one for trying to chop everything and make people work harder, but when you humanize it, the way she just put it, and I've worked with some of you directly in the Virginia hospital, so I have an idea of what you deal with on a daily basis. And you are our best. And I'm going to probably change my mind on the RFP, and I do have to say this was a shock to me when I did see this on Friday. It made for quite a few sleepless nights, yet again, being on the city council, which I'm sure it did for you that are staffed in these departments. So I do want to thank you all for what you do, and I appreciate every single one of you. And so I will not be supporting this RFP going forward. However, something needs to change. And I don't know if we need to make a motion or do something to get the ball rolling, but I still believe it can't continue without some help from that 900 million other communities that we support. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Motley. Councilor Beyondich.
Thank you. I'll keep it short and sweet. From day one, I've supported you. From the day I got on this council, public safety, in my opinion, is at the top. And you do an amazing job. I have watched you as you have picked up loved ones, and I've stood in the background and nobody knew it was me, but I watched how you handled a 90-year-old woman with grace. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Beyondich. Councilor Bachschnider.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening. I will do my best to also keep it brief. I did make a post on Facebook yesterday with where I stand, so I'm just going to reiterate that post. First and foremost, I deeply appreciate every single one of you. My family has utilized your services very recently and with a few transfers to Duluth, and we are so thankful to have this in our community. I would like to emphasize that the challenges that we face was one that is faced all across Minnesota. How do we ensure emergency services remain sustainable for the future? One point that I deserve believes more attention is that this is covered beyond City of Virginia limits. While Virginia taxpayers help support these services, many surrounding communities benefit from them as well. That raises the important question, how do we ensure the cost of providing these critical services is shared fairly among all of the communities that rely on them? I know we've mentioned a few times tonight about getting the ball rolling. So in the middle of May, I had met with Freddie and EJ to have this discussion of what can we do? I don't expect to have revenue out of ambulance and fire. Nobody wants to make money off of a vital community service, but I would like to get that as close to zero as possible. And so at the May 26th, 2026 council meeting, we had actually directed staff to convert call volume data into dollar amounts, so then we as a council can better understand that true cost of providing services. And so the next step for that is to have the council review the information and develop a strategy for discussions with our neighboring communities. So that data was provided late last week, right around the time the agenda came out. I work a full-time job. I usually check this email in the evenings, and so I saw all of these emails at the same time. And so at this time, that remains the approach that I support. I do not support seeking RFPs. I believe we have to fully explore all of the opportunities that exist before we even consider that route. And then I do want to emphasize, yes, here we are talking to City of Virginia taxpayers and City of Virginia taxpayers talking to elected officials here. But if you are a resident of a neighboring community, I encourage you to speak to your city elected officials and tell them that you would be supportive in doing this. I often say I am not a politician, I am a public servant, right? So this is a very, what I would argue, political issue, but it shouldn't be. We are all here, you are here, I am here to serve the public. And so really, really encourage everyone that does not live in the City of Virginia limits to also speak to your elected officials to say that you want to keep this truly regional service at your fingertips. So thank you all for being here this evening. Thank you, Freddie and EJ, for all of the data that you've provided, even today when I had a few follow-up questions, and I continue to support every single one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Buckschneider. So I just have one more thing to add, and then we'll call for the vote. I have to compose myself. Not that this is the reason why I support you 100%. This is an example of why. You gave my father 10 more years of life, which he would not have had if we hadn't have ALS service in the City of Virginia. So that being said, I call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
No.
Roll call, please, Pam.
Huffy.
Aye.
Point of order.
What, well, wait a minute. Whoa, take it back. I do not support. No, I do not support. I do not support. No. Close call. Ooh, scared the heck out of me. No.
Johnson?
Could you read the vote so we all can focus?
Moved by Counselor Skalko, supported by Counselor Motley to approve seeking requests for proposals, RFP for ambulance services.
No.
Motley?
No.
Paulson?
No.
Beyondich?
No.
Bachschnider?
No.
Skalko?
Yes.
A motion does not pass. No RFP will be sent out for ambulance services this time. And thank you for all of you who came tonight and took the time to speak in support of your neighbors and the vital and the cost of a human life cannot be measured by dollars. We support ALS. Have a great evening. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda. You're welcome to stay. Next item on the agenda is 8.8. Another item put on the agenda to approve the seeking request for proposals for law enforcement services. We'll wait here until the audience departs, and then we'll. Okay, we'll move to item 8.8 on the agenda, and this is related to, this was placed on the agenda to approve seeking requests for proposals for law enforcement services.
I'll make the motion to seek the request for proposal for law enforcement services.
A motion by Councilor Skalko to seek an RFP for law enforcement services. Is there support? Is there support? Is there support? Motion fails for lack of support. Okay, we'll move back to the regular agenda.
Mayor, can we do 8.9 as well, please?
Should we
It's
do
also
that one?
related. Yeah, thank
All
you
right,
very much.
I know it's related, but I thought we'd wait a little while longer, but that's a good point. Let's move to 8.9 before we move back to the regular agenda. 8.9 is as follows. Approve to direct staff to create a potential hybrid fire department structure and present the findings and recommendations to the city council. Is there a motion to do that?
Can we discuss?
Once a motion is made, yes.
You can't discuss before a motion?
Sure, if you like.
Can we talk about whatever this is, since it was just put on the agenda without even making I didn't put this on here, but can we talk about it, or is that not even an option?
I'll happily talk about it.
Okay, I'm just,
You want me to talk?
Yeah, please do, Counselor. Explain for all of us.
So my theory and my thoughts behind this are we got to find the ways. I told everybody my thoughts. I told everybody clear as day we have to look forward to the future and stop doing the things we did in the past. What I'd like to start developing, and this might be working with the fire, I don't know how it works, we're going to figure it out, but there are different ways to do things. There is, like I said, Cloquet, for example, in 2009, going to the regional now. Let's explore that. I don't know what it takes, but can we make an motion to start getting these communities involved and start having serious and real discussions and get off the in-service talks and the toilets that we talk about every week? Let's look at the hybrids. There's models out there to look forward, and I just need to have that information in front of me, so then when budgets come and everyone's from the taxpayers are asking questions, we have answers, we have solutions, we have ideas, we can discuss them openly with everybody. So my motion would be to put together a task force. I don't know what the answer is, but let's start working on looking at different types of modeling to make a hybrid or a full-time with paid on call, whatever it looks, but we need to do something of that nature to start looking at future ideas. Because as you said earlier, we're not going to sustain this for 10 years, 20 years. You look at the history books in 40 years, we continue down this road, there will be no fire department. So we need to do something. I'm proposing that we work with the departments, with other communities to start developing ideas and plans to bring this in as a regional level or into a hybrid situation for moving forward. Nobody loses their job, but moving forward, we start looking at paid on call.
Okay, so there is not a motion on the floor. We're just foiling for discussion purposes, but eventually there's going to be a motion. I'm going to tender a request for a motion with respect to that. And after the motion is made, there'll be time for discussion at that time, sir. Councilor Bachschneider.
Thank you. Did Freddie sneak out? Does anyone know? Totally okay if he did. I had actually emailed Freddie about this today as well, and I think it's important to note that Fire EMS are very willing to start a committee with council if that's what we're looking for data, and to share that information. Freddie's also participating in the state fire marshal's current state of the fire survey that is being conducted throughout the state. Results should be released later this year, and early indications are that volunteer and paid on-call departments are louder than ever, that those delivery models are not dying, they are dead. They are not working anymore. So I know Mr. Makowski had mentioned some old survey data. We're getting new survey data. but it's just looking like that is just not the model, and that we really have to look at working with neighboring communities to make this happen. And there's the man of the hour, Freddie. I did just recap your email from earlier talking about the current state of the fire service survey that you are being a part of through the state fire marshal's office, and just read what you had shared with us. So thank you. I don't know if you have anything additional from the email earlier, please share, but thank you.
We're good, okay. Before we have any discussion, I'll need a motion first for discussion purposes. If this is going to be moved forward. Is this a motion? We're looking for a motion to approve directing staff to create a potential hybrid for the fire department structure and prevents findings to the city council.
Point of order, Mayor.
Yes?
So it's 8.9 is something different than that. So do we have to vote up or down on 8.9 and then the next motion would be made?
No, there has not been a motion made yet.
I know there has not been a motion, but what is on the agenda is 8.9.
Yes.
So do you have to address that 8.9?
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Because that's different than a task force motion, and I won't be supporting 8.9.
No.
I wasn't recommending making a motion for a task force. He's already participating in this. We're talking about the hybrid model, which I'm saying we've been told that doesn't work. So that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I wasn't referencing you.
Okay, so let's redo this now.
Thank you.
That's the issue.
It was just a point of order.
You get a motion first, then a second, but council wanted discussion first, so that's what we're doing, and this is a result of that. So 8.9 is as follows. Approve directing staff to create a potential hybrid fire department structure and present the findings and recommendations to the city council. That's what's on the agenda today, and looking for action from the council, if any. Is there a motion? Is there a motion? Is there a motion? No motion to be made. This item is no longer to be considered at this meeting. Okay, yes, Councilor Motley?
I was hoping Counselor Paulson would maybe talk about, was it Itasca County and the taxing district? Pam, can we get the ball rolling on that, or is that not appropriate time? Or not, we can save it for 2 weeks from now.
Well, no, I mean, it's not an agenda item, but you can bring it up under other items of concern if you wish. If you wish to do that. Okay, we'll move back to the regular order of business in the current structure of our agenda. We'll move to item number 7, which is item 7.1 under unfinished business, update on the Humane Society.
Thank you, Mayor.
Pam?
No update, just the meeting is scheduled for next Monday, June 29th at 5:30 at the Iron Trail Motors Event Center. And I believe I sent an email out to all the council and Attorney Lindsay regarding their concept of what the meeting will entail.
And what day is that?
Monday.
The 29th? Okay. 5:30, okay.
Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Buckschneider.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Pam, for forwarding that email. I did get the opportunity to read it. My understanding was that the purpose of the meeting with the Humane Society would be to negotiate, and they had stated in their email that the purpose of the meeting would just be to share with us about their services. I don't think, I'm at least speaking for myself and potentially others, but I don't believe any of us are questioning what their services are and if they're good or bad. We're just questioning the pay for them. And so if the purpose of the meeting is truly just to hear about the services, I don't see the point in a meeting. I think that can be an email to us as well. So if we could follow up on that, and I don't know, I would be willing to make a motion to cancel the meeting contingent on confirmation of agenda or something like that, if we think that's necessary. But I don't think we need to meet to hear what they do.
Well, I sent out the olive branch. You want to meet? Let us know, because I was getting inundated from Facebook, from Virginia Rant, all these kind of things. People would call the Humane Society, they go to the Humane Society, they would, and the Humane Society staff was directed to send it, to call the mayor, bring the animal to the mayor's office. And so this was the olive branch to talk about this issue. I don't think we need to negotiate anything right now. And the reason I don't think we need to negotiate, and if nobody wants to attend the meeting, that's fine too. I mean, we don't have to have a quorum there. We just have some representation there if that's amenable to the council, because later on down on the agenda, we're going to talk about another service that could be provided for animal control. Councilor Bachschnider.
Thank you. Yeah, personally, I don't question what the services are that the Humane Society offers. I'm fully aware, supportive of the services. My questions come in at the dollar amount that they're asking per animal or per contract here with us. So for that reason, if the agenda remains the same, I more than likely will not attend. But if we do expand the agenda, or at least there's some opportunity to at least discuss, I'd be willing to attend. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So if you could please reach out to the Humane Society and get a clarification on the agenda. Thank you. Anything else on the Humane Society? Thank you, Councilor Bachschnider. Make a good point there. Item 7.2 is to adopt the second reading, amending Chapter 11, Section 11.40, Subdivision 1, Signs of the City Code of the City of Virginia, entitled Performance Standards. Jenny, do you have anything on this?
Yes, Mayor, as we discussed last time, this is a long time coming ordinance amendment to increase the size of signs, mostly in the commercial zone districts within the city. Planning and zoning had been working on this for approximately 5 years and have got it to the point where they think that it should be in order to alleviate unnecessary variance requests.
Okay, thank you.
So moved.
Support.
Move to approve by Councilor Johnson, supported by Councilor Bachschnider. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Paulson.
Thank you. And I appreciate the update to this ordinance by the commission. And my other question would be, when would we be addressing the signs and campaign signs? I think that needs to be updated as well. We had talked about that 2 years ago, and it still wasn't addressed. So how do we need to give directive to do that? We can vote on this, and then do we need to give directive to that? Or do you add that on as a different item, a different section in this ordinance? I just want to, and the potentially was when all the flooding happened and we had all those signs all over, and then there were lots on the corner that had corner signs this way and that way that were blocking and impeding the view of, like at a four-way stop sign with all those signs. So I'm fine with the language change in this, and this would be the first reading, but I would like to have that be addressed.
You mentioned campaign signs?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there is a state statute that regulates campaign signs, when they can be in, when they can't be in, and those kind of things. And I would refer to our legal counsel, Mr. Lindsay, to address that. Mr. Lindsay.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, there is a state statute. What that state statute does is basically it creates an election period and kind of lets the cities who have more restrictive ordinances know that you can't enforce those to prohibit or with the effect of prohibiting campaign activities. I think if we wanted to address the campaign sign issues, I think a directive or some direction to the staff to come back with an additional section may be an appropriate way to do it. This covers more the advertising signs and things, but that language that addresses campaign signs will have to recognize state statute in its operation, and we, of course, always bend to state statute. So.
Okay, and so I appreciate that. So then it would be a second level would be the campaign signs, and then Brian, how do we deal, and Jenny, I don't know if there's a section to deal with, people are supposed to come, the way I understand it on our, when I read, I believe it's in our, I don't think it's in our charter. I believe it is, the sign, how they have to come and get a permission. So when all these companies came and they just basically flooded Virginia with all the signs, there's not a process that anyone's following. So is that a secondary portion to this ordinance as well?
Mr. Lindsay?
Thank you, Mayor. And I can defer to Jenny, but what we, or Ms. Bourbonnais, what we may want to do is address like short-term promotional advertising signs. And those are those, small couple foot by couple foot signs that, your roofing companies, your construction companies put out to advertise that they've worked on a particular project. And I think those, that temporary signage ordinance could also
Signage, okay.
could also address campaign and political activity signs.
Okay, so after this vote goes through, then it would be, I would make a motion about campaign and temporary signage to add that to the discussion. And then, Brian, currently what we have, and I don't know if you know this offhand, but if there gets to be corners that are loaded and flooded with signs, is there currently something obstructing right now? I don't know if our police department is here. Do we have anything ordinance-wise on the books for obstruction for impeding visibility and traffic? We do, Jenny?
Mayor, if I may?
Yes, Jenny,
Thank you, Mayor.
please.
Thank you, Councilor Paulson. So first, if I could back up just real quickly, there was a directive at the last council meeting to work on temporary sign language, and that will be presented to Planning and Zoning at their next meeting, which is in July. We don't currently have any variance cases, so it should be a good time to discuss that type of an issue. So that has already been taken care of as form of a directive. And then as far as obstruction signs, yes, you are not allowed to obstruct corners or views or right-of-ways. If there are signs within our city right-of-way, we are allowed to remove those signs. It would have to be city staff that would remove those signs. So I don't know if that directly
What if it's
addresses.
on personal property, but it's obstructing on a four-way four-way?
If it's a safety issue, then yes, we should be able to address that through, I believe, the ordinance language that's on hand right now.
I just want to make sure that we have the ability to do that, or I would add that to our campaign or temporary sign updates, because I feel like that's really important. And there was a couple corners that were completely flooded with signs, but they were in the property of, they were on private property, Brian. So do we have something that addresses that?
Mr. Lindsay?
We do, both the city ordinance prevents obstructing views at intersections, as well as
Okay.
state law also prevents creating dangerous conditions by display sign.
Okay. And then I have one more item then, Miss Jenny, if we don't mind, if I need to make, do you want to just vote on this and then I'll just make a motion? Okay, we'll do that. Sorry, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Item 7.2 is approve the second reading of the amended Chapter 11, Section 11.40, Subdivision 1, Signs of the City Code of the City of Virginia entitled Performance Standards. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All motion carries. Councilor Paulson.
Okay, thank you. So then I would move to direct Jenny to, well, I direct staff to work with, I guess, the Planning and Zoning Commission regarding or adding to their agenda, their next agenda, on top of their addressing the temporary signs, that they would be addressing campaign signs as well.
Okay, motion by Councilor Paulson. Is there support?
Support.
By Councilor Motley. Further discussion. Councilor Bachschnider.
Thank you. Aren't campaign signs already included in temporary signs? Isn't that what we just discussed, so it's already being addressed?
There's a state statute regarding campaign signs, but I think you were looking at the other kind of signage. Mr. Lindsay.
Thank you, Mayor. I think we can lump them all into one ordinance about temporary advertisement or temporary display signs. And I think the language that we'll bring in the ordinance will cover both, and of course, yield to state statute during election periods.
Councilor Bachschnider.
Thank you, Mayor. So do we feel this second directive is necessary, or is the directive from the last meeting just covers what we're trying to accomplish?
I feel like they're two different things. I feel like temporary signs are different because there's a complete statute on campaign signs. And temporary, we view those, they have to get permission to put, they're different.
Mr. Lindsay.
Thank you, Mayor. So the primary thrust of the state statute basically indicates to local communities that any any restrictions that a local community would place above and beyond what the state allows for display of political signs are ineffective during the period of time when the election season occurs, but are effective, and cities can regulate them more strictly outside of election season. So to the extent that our ordinance would touch the time periods when there isn't an election season or period currently at hand, they would be effective. They would just have to yield to that state statute to be a little bit broader. So I think it would make some sense to kind of create a category of temporary signage that would include both the business advertisement type signs as well as political activity signs. Of course, that political activity side would be suspended during elections.
Sure, and that's exactly, there's just a differentiation that just would need to be differentiated in the new ordinance addendum or whatever you're gonna add on to that. So, just so as long as it's spelled out in it, that's all I want. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Pam, will you read the last directive with respect to Councilor Paulson's request?
Thank you, Mayor. So the last directive from the last meeting regarding the signs says, approve to update the sign ordinance to regulate temporary advertising signs and incorporate the restrictions state law has during election season.
So, okay, but according to what Jenny said is you weren't talking about that.
Mayor?
Which one are you doing?
Mayor?
Yes, Jenny.
Thank you. Counselor Paulson, no, I said we were addressing that at the next meeting because the directive was given 2 weeks ago at the last council meeting to do just what Pam had read, but we haven't had a planning and zoning meeting until.
Right, but when I
Why?
addressed campaign signs directly, you had said you're only addressing temporary. But if you're going to put temporary and cause.
But following.
Yeah, it says election in there. She just read it. Now we understand. Thank
Right,
you.
Right.
Okay.
Good? Okay, thank you.
There's a motion on the floor.
A motion on the floor in support?
I will withdraw my motion.
Withdrawing the motion. Thank you. All right. Anything else on that? Okay. Okay, item 7.3 is discuss the ACH payment process information with Franson Bank and Sharp. Megan?
Yes, so I am still waiting for information from them. I did reach out again this week regarding just some references from other municipalities and things to make sure that we're not subjecting ourselves to fraud per the auditor's request. And I got an email back just shortly ago saying that our banker will reach out again to Sharp to urge them on to get some references for us. So I would ask that this get tabled until I get more information on that.
Move to table.
Support.
Moved by Councilor Boxner, supported by Councilor Johnson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7.4, review and approve the cable communication franchise ordinance. Been a long time coming. Anyone?
Mayor, if I can give you an update.
Yes, would you please?
At the last council
thank
meeting,
you, Britt.
we were directed to ask MediaCom a couple more questions regarding the office in town. We didn't get an answer on that question. We actually got another question back from them, so we're still working on this. So if it's okay, can we table this for the next meeting, please?
Move to table.
Support.
Councilor Boxsteiner moves to table, supported by Councilor Skelko. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. I'm sorry, Councilor Johnson supported that. I apologize. Wasn't quick with my eyes. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Okay, item 7.5, review and adopt an updated resolution for the lease of Motorola solutions for the public safety radios.
So moved. Support.
Moved by Councilor Johnson, supported by Councilor Boxsteiner. Is there any further discussion? Hearing, seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 7.6 is approve the first reading amending Chapter 2, Section 2.07 of the City Code of the City of Virginia entitled Salaries for Mayor and Council Members.
So move.
Move to approve by Councilor Boxsteiner. Is there support?
Support.
By Councilor Motley. Further discussion. Councilor Boxsteiner.
Thank you. Just for those that maybe haven't had the opportunity to review this, We are adjusting salaries for mayor, councilor. That's what's being discussed and proposed tonight. The ordinance reads, "The salary of council members shall remain at the sum of $300 a month for terms ending December 31, 2028. These are the councilors whose term are not up at the end of this calendar year, and so they are still eligible for the insurance, so their pay will actually be reduced then. The salary of the mayor shall be set at a sum of $700 a month beginning January 1, 2027, and councilors at $500 a month. And that's an increase from $500 and $300 respectively. But at the same time, we are eliminating committee of the whole pay, which is $100 a meeting, 2 meetings a month. So essentially, the take-home pay is the same as what we're currently taking home, but we've already eliminated council insurance for those that are seeing that, like, I put increase in stipend because the stipend itself is increased, but we have the same amount of meetings. And then we are also eliminating the $35 for meetings that are on days outside of regular scheduled council meetings. So for example, we had personnel committee yesterday. We would be paid $35 for that meeting. Going forward, when this is placed, we would not be paid that $35. That seems like an overall summary of what this is. Am I missing anything in that? Thank you.
Is there a motion on the floor and support? Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed?
No.
Roll call, please, Pam.
Johnson,
No.
Motley,
Yes.
Paulson,
Aye.
Beyondich,
Aye.
Bachschnider,
Aye.
Skelko,
Aye.
Duffy.
Aye. Motion passes 6-1. Thank you. Okay, item 7.7, the forensic audit update. And looking for an update for that, I just want to say before we get started that I'm not going to support a forensic audit. I'll support asking the county to come and help us out because it's a minimal cost. And if necessary, we can move toward that forward. It's a lot of money, and I don't think it's necessary from my personal perspective, but that's just me. So we have this on the agenda to discuss and potential council action. Councilor Paulson, or should I say, okay, Councilor Paulson.
I would move the forensic audit going forward, RFP for a forensic audit.
Okay, Councilor Paulson moves to approve the forensic audit. Moving forward, is there support?
Support.
Councilor Skelko, is there any further discussion? I have some, but we'll go to Councilor Paulson who made the motion and over to Councilor Motley.
Thank you, Mayor. In our work session prior to this meeting, I had gone into our city's financials, the last financials packet that we received. And in every department, we have the account ending in 319, which is other professional services. I don't have it up right here, but let me see if I can get to my photos super quick. I know we had put aside some money for community development. As of this point in time, we still have $83,000 left in other professional services in that account. In city administration, which is Britt's office, account 319, we still have $30,144 left in that account. City council still has $4,400 left in that on 319. So when I didn't add them all up, but if you go and you add them all, you can have them probably print that out in Cassell and see across the board. In my recommendation then going forward, I'm in full support of doing this. We have to be transparent about this. And I do believe that we have enough money set aside in our other professional services budget to be able to tap into it and pay for this, and without having to cause any more problems for the taxpayers. Brian, do you have something else?
Okay, thank you. But before we go to Councilor Motley and Councilor Johnson, Brian, our legal counsel, any comments?
Just a brief update. I believe this was the authorization to go out and start speaking with the auditing firms was made at the last meeting. Ms. Sibenis and I and Financial have met with 3 firms so far. Yep, and we've got a couple yet to meet with. We're working on the scope, and then with that, they will return prices, and we look to bring those prices back to the council in the very near future.
Okay, and then I just noticed that a lot of those calls were made yesterday.
Due to their availability.
The
They were
20
scheduled for yesterday. We
Okay.
contacted them to ask them when they could meet to talk, and they were not available till yesterday,
Okay.
this week, next week,
So,
yeah.
Regardless how that happened, but so some of these were just taking place yesterday. So it might take a little time to do that, and I'm okay. I mean, we're gonna have to pay, if we did a forensic audit from the state of Minnesota, we're gonna have to pay for it one way or the other, whether it's petitioned or they come in or whatever. Now, I feel like a private firm would be quicker and to come in and because the state is they're probably backlogged like every government entity. So I would rather just have a private firm come in, and I know Abdo is on there, and I think we've worked with Abdo in the past, to come in and do this as quickly as possible. I know it is gonna take some time to do it, but I really like the findings prior to our 2027 budget planning processes. So that's really important to me, and that's why I'd rather just do it privately. And I do feel that if we run that account, Megan, if you don't mind, maybe just sending that out by department, what's left, the balance left in each department, just like we did with the Baker Tilly, how when we authorized the expenditure of the financial tool, and it was like we talked earlier, 44,000, Brianna went and expensed it across all departments. So if we could expense it once we find out how much it is, divide that and expense that across all departments. But we do have healthy balances in our other professional services in most departments.
And I will
budgets.
say, if I may.
Yes, Megan.
There are some departments that have kind of a 1 or 2 time large payment that comes out of that. So if you don't mind, I will get those numbers to you as well, so we can realistically look at what we have
Absolutely.
available versus what we expect to be paid out, because I don't want to send, knowing that some of those things will be expensed, they will have those expenses, like I
If you
think.
could just give the
So I
itemization
can-
of what those
yep.
expenses would be out of the
Absolutely.
professional.
I just wanted to let you know that that will be included as well.
Because some of that was from SEH, Matt Reed,
Yeah.
which we have a balance left of 83,000. And if we don't have a balance of 83,000,
So in community development, and not to bog down the details right now, but in community development, we had separated the line items, professional services and engineering for 2026, but there only was one of those lines that was budgeted. So it kind of is.
explain that again?
So we budgeted, I believe, other professional services at a higher amount, but in order to see what we're paying for engineering services versus other professional services, we did split out the 2 lines in the financials. So both of those lines are sharing that budgeted item, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we increased it by $50,000.
Yes.
To a tune of 80, it had been 30.
Because in previous years, they had been
so-
over. So, but those
No,
are
we
just.
hadn't run over in previous years. It wasn't over as of, I'm not going to sit and hash
Right.
this
I'll-
out. I mean, this is getting.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll get the
We just need
information
to
to
find
you
the
just so
money,
you
and
can
we
see
have
it.
money in professional services in which to do this, and we can sit and discuss which department and nitpick all day long. But the bottom line is, we have to be transparent to the taxpayers, and so we have to find this money to pay for the audit. Thank you.
Thank you. And once again, before we go to Councilor Miley, just quickly, I'm not going to support the motion to go with the forensic audit, not that I don't think it's necessary, but I mean, at the least check the box off. Ask the county, what does that cost? Can they do it? I mean, if they can do it in a timely manner, and it's a heck of a lot cheaper, and they're professionals as well to help our finances out, I would prefer to at least check the box anyway before we move forward with the motion, only to go with a forensic audit and nothing else. So that's my position at this point in time. Councilor Motley.
Obviously, I'm 100% for a forensic audit. I've been saying that because I put it on the agenda a couple weeks ago. I don't know how comfortable I am with our city administrator and finance director being the ones looking for a firm for us to do a forensic audit when there's been misplacement of funds. And frankly, that's why I put wanting the forensic audit on the agenda. So I'm feeling a little bit like that might be a conflict of interest. And I don't know if we need to bring HR in to be involved with that. I have no idea what that looks like, as I've never been a part of anything like this. But do you feel like you want to comment, Joy, at all on my thought process, or you just want to stay out of it?
Before Joy comments, I'm going to ask, since you made the lack of better accusation, I'd like Britt to respond to that comment.
My only comment was going to be just be careful not to make accusations that are unfounded about staff at a public meeting on tape, please.
Okay. Okay.
Did you want, I want
I want to clarify, the attorney's been with us for that reason, so that there would be no hesitation from the council members that are concerned. We made sure the attorney is with us with all these conversations.
Councilor Motley?
And I understand that. Joy, would you like to comment, or do you want to refrain on this? Okay.
Joy Rudabush, our Human Resources Director. Joy, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I don't have anything to add, but I'd be willing to be present if that makes you more comfortable in the conversation.
I know, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, and I'm sorry if you feel like accusations. I just feel like I want this to be as most open and transparent as possible when we're looking into the depths of our financial atrocity as far as I'm concerned. So it would make me, this is just my opinion. I don't know what the rest of the council feels, but my opinion is I'd be more comfortable if you were present. And I know you got a million things going on, but that's just my opinion. So anyway, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
I'm sure there would be no objection to me being a part of it, and I would be happy to sit in the conversations.
Thank you, Joy.
Welcome.
Councilor Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just finishing a thought here. I appreciate the discussion earlier. I do have concerns that we have budgeted and allocated money for the entire year, and taking that money before there's any leftover is concerning to me, because it has been budgeted and allocated, as that's what budgets are for. I also would like to remind everybody that this council has continually approved spending all of the money over the last 100 and some years that we have been running. It is our responsibility to make sure we are checking those financials every meeting and having questions and asking them then. So it is the council, the elected officials, who are responsible for maybe not having all the information they need to make the appropriate decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Councilor Johnson, was there a motion? Okay, very good, thank you. Councilor Paulson? Oh, no, so Councilor, we have a motion second. Yes, Councilor Bachschnider, and then back over to Councilor Paulson. Councilor Bachschnider.
Thank you, Mayor. A few items. My first one is can you please read the motion back?
Moved by Counselor Paulson, supported by Counselor Skalko, to approve developing an RFP for a forensic audit and submit to the firms presented.
Okay, thank you. And that's the action we're taking because the forensic audit firms specifically have asked for a formal RFP. One of them formally has. So that's why we are taking that motion at this point in time. Last week, the directive was to gather the information. One final question for city staff. Can you tell us with 100% certainty where the sales tax dollars are right now?
Britt or Megan? Britt, do you have that information?
I don't know that's a conversation I want to have on TV right now.
Okay, thank
Just
you.
only because of the accusations that have already been going today. It's just not worth the time or argument at this moment. We have the working meetings for those discussions. We could have talked about it at 3 o'clock. We didn't. We can definitely talk about it again. We'll bring the auditors back in again. We'll do whatever you guys would
And we
like.
did talk about it at 3 o'clock, actually. We did talk for probably a good 20 to 30 minutes specifically on the 2020A, 2020B, and Event Center Fund balances. So we did talk about it for quite a long time.
Correct.
And the answer to that question is we think we know, but we aren't with 100% certainty, and that is why we need a forensic audit. Thank you.
100%. And the answer that we've had all along is we are still working through the arbitrage, which is that same process that the forensic auditor is going to be doing. Still doing that. Until we get that done, we won't really know everything yet.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. Do I need to put a timeline on this because I want this done ASAP? I understand the arbitrage is, I do understand that, but I feel like the sooner we do, I really want the findings for our budget planning process in 2020, for 2027. That's going to be really, really important. I actually take pause when a council member states that we have all the responsibility of reading the financials. We read the financials that get put before us, and we make decisions based on those financials. And I've made decisions over the past 3-4 years based on the financials that we have been receiving. So if any counselor wants to take personal accountability, that's no problem. But for a counselor to blanketly give accountability across the board, I will not take that at all, responsibility. It is my responsibility to the taxpayers to find out what happened to $3.5 million of sales tax overage in collection, and that's what I intend to do. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Counselor Paulson. I mean, it appears as though the consensus of the council is go for a forensic audit. I would just ask that whether it's part of this motion or not, or whether the council would be amenable, but I think we should just touch base with the county just to see. I don't think it hurts anything, but I will acquiesce to the majority of the council and move forward with the motion on the floor. So it has been moved and supported. Further discussion, Councilor Bachschnider.
Thank you, Mayor. My understanding of the motion last week was we directed city staff to go out and gather information and bring it back. And I don't think that limited them from reaching out to the county or state by any means.
That was my point.
And so please feel free to do so, but at the same time, I still think we can move forward with preparing an RFP and getting that to private firms. But I don't think that our motion last week limited us by reaching out to the county or state in any way, shape, or form. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was the point I was trying to make. So it has been moved and supported to go with a forensic audit.
Just one question. Counselor Paulson, were you going to add a time frame in the motion?
What type of time frame would be sufficient?
Well, I think.
In a week, I mean, you've already reached out, would a week be sufficient?
To have it ready to send out or to have it?
To have an RFP ready to send out?
100, yes.
Pardon?
Yes.
1 week? Okay, very good. 1 week, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, that has been moved and supported. With the title set that you add 1 week, is there any further discussion? Here, Councilor Motley.
Just a quick question. So will it be all these firms that are listed minus the one that declined that we'll be sending RFPs for?
And any other ones that ask, because oftentimes once we post it on the league website or our city website, others will ask for information.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
I'm sorry,
Councilor Paulson.
I apologize. I guess I just want to know, how do we do that? How do we advertise for that?
The League of Minnesota Cities has a RFP section that we advertise on.
Okay.
And a lot of places, a lot of firms, no matter what they are, that work for, looking for government contracts will look through there. So it's a cheap, free way to do that. And then on
Is
our
there
website
any
also.
other way that, or
Our
is it
website,
just
our-
like calling them and soliciting, hey, that we're,
Well, in these ones I have contacts now, so I could definitely solicit.
okay. I feel like we should go on all fronts.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Paulson. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
No.
Roll call, please, Pam.
Motley?
Yes.
Paulson?
Aye.
Beyondich? Bachschnider?
Aye.
Stelco?
Aye.
Huffy?
Aye.
Johnson?
No.
Motion passes. Thank you. All right, next item, 7.8, downtown core steam conversion update. Jenny, do you have any information you can provide? I've been doing some checking around, and so I'm looking for some insight. Thank you. Jenny?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. Yes, in the packet, there was a document that had a list of addresses that are unknown of what their plans are for steam conversion at this time. We did work with Public Utilities on getting this list together. A few of them on the list that was in the packet, I believe may be residential, but out of this list that I know are commercial are 11. And there's about 2 that we've had discussions since the time this list came out and you received it, that are working on some sort of plan. So this is the list that was provided. I don't know if there's questions. I think the directive was just to provide this list.
Thank you. Anything else, Councilor Bachschnider?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, and thank you, Jenny, for providing this. I think I was the one that requested to have this on the agenda. I think overall, my fear is that come October, if individuals or businesses have not converted and we haven't followed the proper legal steps to notify them that they have to convert, then all of a sudden we don't have to turn the steam off. And so while I know that we have followed the proper legal steps, can we just have that said out loud, right? Like what are some of the legal steps that we have followed? So then when October comes, that we are not going to be in some sort of hold that we have to keep the steam on.
Well, the issue, and I wish Brian was here, but he had to leave. The issue is that who's responsible for that?
That's a great question.
The Department of Public Utilities, who set the agenda to have the steam conversion completed by October of 2026. And in defense of that, the Public Utilities, they gave a lot of a heads up about that. It's been years they had the opportunity to do that. Now, maybe some chose not to. Maybe they're closing their stores, they're retiring, which is, we'll talk about later, was very unfortunate. But those who have been without any form of heat at all for 3, 4, 5 years on Chestnut Street are not going to convert. So what happens to that building? So as far as any legal steps with respect to that, I think what happens is your steam gets shut off, and then you have to find a scramble to get heat in there somehow. But that is the Public Utilities responsibility and not a city one, but we should get maybe some clarification from our legal counsel about that. Councilor Bachschnider.
Thank you. I agree. If we could get some clarification on legal counsel, what I compare this to is if you're driving through an intersection and somebody's running a red light and you see it, you're going to hit your brakes because do you want to be right or do you want to get hit? Right? Like you don't care. You don't want to get hit. So you're going to slam on your brakes and you're not going to get hit. So I think that's why I'm bringing this up because yes, while I agree this is a utilities responsibility, we are the ones that are going to get hit if it doesn't happen. Thank you.
Yeah, certainly. Well, let's check with legal counsel to see what legal obligations we certainly have and what we can do to help mitigate that from happening. Thank you. Councilor Beyondich, do you have something? Okay, thank you.
Mayor.
Yes, Councilor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. Just as a point of history, this is the 5th or 6th time the utilities has gone through the process of shutting off steam to certain parts of town. And if you have not converted, that's your problem to figure out. There are still homes that chose not to convert that are utilizing electric space heaters within town. So I appreciate the concern. I think that the utility they're experts at this point, and I know that they do door knocker or door hangers and emails and letters and all kinds of stuff. So I just want to point out that this has happened before.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. And I wish Brian was still here because I do have a legal question. I understand residential is different. Well, what about commercial? Can the city do anything to legally, not mandate maybe that they convert, but maybe mandate that they winterize properly because of all of the water lines and steam lines that run congruent, it's basically parallel to Chestnut Street, and the water lines run under different buildings. So one building might have 2 or 3 water lines that it just consecutively runs. My fear is that we've got on the 300 block, now it looks like, on this list, it looks like even there's more, that it might impact current building business owners and their operations if they don't winterize properly. So is there any way that we, and I know it's been many years of, I mean, I think even Jenny, Councilor Beyondich door knocked. I know you guys went and visited pretty much all the commercial properties. So I know it's not for lack of trying. I do want to ask if there is a bigger building or two, Mayor, do we have the ability, not that we would want to, but we do have 2 anchor places or possibly 3. If they cannot get their conversion done and completed by the end of October, does this council have the ability to override the public utilities decision to shut off October 31st?
Well, I believe that would be a legal question we would have to ask Brian, and I make you make a motion to direct staff to contact Mr. Lindsay to find out what options we may have in the event that does occur. Because the public utilities is, they're working with an old antiquated system where you have water lines running underneath, and you have businesses on Chestnut Street that have shared lines and those kind of things that know exactly what you're talking about. And so I think it would be a good legal question for Brian to maybe come back and give us what some options we may have moving forward, and that may answer the question you have also, Councilor Boxsnyder.
I don't mean to, I'm not trying to stir any type of a hornet's nest, but the reality of the situation is we have, I know of 3 anchor buildings on Chestnut Street, and I don't know if the one at this side will be completed. I know this one probably won't, I don't think they will be completed. And my biggest fear is that it will destroy those anchor buildings if it's not. So we need to address it, we need to have this discussion.
Well, I think we can have that discussion moving forward, and I think it would be prudent for us to contact the Department of Public Utilities, Greg French, and the staff and the commissioners, and to see if there's any, if this is the case, we've identified that, and people haven't been able to convert, and they're just trying to convert, they want to convert. Maybe an extension could be done, I don't know. I know they have a plan in place in that regard, and they want to stick to that plan moving forward. So I think maybe we could check what our legal obligations are and what our options could be.
I would really appreciate that.
Excuse me. Okay. Counselor, one moment, just for one moment. Counselor Boxsnyder.
Thank you. I agree with you, Counselor Paulson. And while I understand that we have gone and door knocked and left flyers, there's really no way to confirm receipt of that, right? I think we need to make sure that certified mail is being sent. I'm not saying it hasn't. I'm saying I don't know if it has or hasn't. So that's really what I'm looking at, is what legal actions have we taken so far? Thank you.
And I don't think we have taken any legal actions, but I know the Department of Public Utilities has done their due diligence. Right? They've put notices, they've called people, they've set stuff in their, they've knocked on doors, they're very cognizant of who has converted and who's not. And Mr. French, I just asked him last month, he does have a list that he could provide to all of us about who does, and we should get that list from. We still have it? We have
The list is in the packet for who.
Is this the updated list?
Yeah, the
Oh, it's
list is in the
updated.
packet for who they don't know the plans, but we don't know, I personally, maybe others do, but I personally don't know what communication has the utilities done that is legal and certified to the business owners, right? Because what I don't want to happen is that these business owners or these homeowners come back and say, oh, I had no idea, and we have no legal ramification to prove that we did tell them. That's my concern.
And I know they do have that, so we will get you that information. Yep.
Yeah, well, thank you, Councilor Boxsnyder. Okay. Anything else on the conversion update? Okay, come on forward. Once again, your name for the record? Yes, Rachel, thank you.
Rachel Strasser, as a business owner, I want to know, my family, it hurt my family, $140,000 it cost us to convert, to try to bring people back to the community, right? My husband's self-employed, we donate. So for us businesses that have done this, my question, either you guys or public utilities, I'm with Julianne, what about the place next to me that doesn't do it? And now I've taken on this personal debt, my husband and I, that we will never, ever make that money back. It won't, because that's not what we're in for. We're in for giving to this community. That's why we donate to the 3 different veteran organizations around here. That's why I donate to any local veteran needs. A veteran comes to me, and I make sure they have what they need. And so it's not about the money for us, but part of it is, I want to make sure my building's still there. So I'm concerned on that, as we took on that debt to continue to provide service for this town, because many people say, we love your store, times are tough, you help us out. And so that's just a big concern that I have right now, is the buildings that aren't converted for us that have.
Well, we'll try to get some answers just moving forward. And then I would ask you, if you would, to call the Department of Public Utilities and ask them, what they're going to do. We're going to do the same thing, and their telephone number is 218-748-7540.
Yeah, I will call them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Make a motion, Mayor.
Yes, please do, Councilor Paulson.
Thank you. Could I move to direct staff to, I don't know, what would the word be? It's been too long already. Discuss mandating winterization, if we have any laws or rules, ordinances on the books for winterization of commercial buildings to protect others. And then to reach out and discuss options with the anchor buildings that potentially might need more time, and to discuss with the Public Utility Department.
Support.
Moved by Councilor Paulson and supported by Councilor Bachschneider. Do you have that motion, Pam? Any further discussion? Councilor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. I will not be supporting this, as this is the last phase, and we have done this repeatedly. And also, the only responsibility, unfortunately, we have is fiscal oversight of the public utilities, and we cannot mandate them to do anything, as far as I understand, with the way the charter's written.
Thank you. I do think it's prudent for us to do whatever we can to help out the residents and business, get as much information as possible for them, and do whatever is possible, because the financial burden on them is significant. And anything we do to help mitigate that, I think we should take every opportunity to do so. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
No.
Roll call, please, Pam.
Paulson?
Aye.
Beyondich? Aye. Bachschneider?
Aye.
Stelco?
Aye.
Huffy?
Aye.
Johnson? Motley?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, item 8, discussion items, item 8.1, adopt a resolution, finance resolution number 26-012, the schedule of bills. Councilor Motley.
So moved.
Councilor Motley moves to approve. Is there support? Is there support?
Support for discussion.
Support by Councilor Bachschneider for further discussion. Further discussion, since you made the second, Councilor Bachschneider, then over to Councilor Paulson. Councilor Bachschneider.
Thank you, Mayor. I did email Megan, I think either last night or this morning, and I had highlighted a whole bunch of things that I felt don't necessarily meet the spending of our spending freeze. And so while I recognize that they're on the schedule of bills, I'll approve the bill run. I did ask that going forward, we do not continue with those purchases. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Paulson?
Thank you. I had the same concern as Counselor Bachschneider for, I won't call it unauthorized, but we are in a spending freeze, and I thought it was only supposed to be for anything essential. So I would echo that sentiment 100%. And then on the vote, I will be abstaining, since I am actually on the bill run. my business is on the bill run. So I will be abstaining from the vote approving the resolution.
Yeah, thank you. Motion and support. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. I would think that should be public record of what those are, if we can get those next time that those concerns come up as part of what it is. I would believe that our staff are only purchasing essential items and only doing essential services at this point, knowing that there is a freeze. And I think it is good to, that the staff know what is being considered unessential or unnecessary purchasing. So I will approve the bill, the bill pay, because I believe our staff are doing their jobs and are diligent in what they are attempting to accomplish.
Okay, motion on the floor to approve the schedule of bills and support. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Paulson?
Thank you, Mayor. I have one other item I'd like to bring. It's regarding the usage. And I know we've talked about this, but when a council member goes down at the finance department and makes 200 copies, I would think that that would be an inappropriate use of city funds. And I don't know if that needs to be addressed, but I will not approve any frivolous spending. We are in a spending freeze currently, and I would think that making 200 copiers on the city's copier should probably not be happening. Thank you.
Okay, the bill run, it's been moved and supported to pass the bill run. Is there any further discussion on this matter? Counselor Bachschnider.
Thank you. I'm happy to talk about some of the things that I don't think are included in the scope of our spending freeze, and I'll specifically call out any advertising. Yes, we need to post public meeting notices. I have no problem with that, but we do not need to be currently advertising for our event center, our golf course, anything like that. And break room supplies, I know that's been talked about year over year over year, but we are now officially in a spending freeze and we should not be purchasing any break room supplies. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for pointing those out, Counselor Bachschnider. The bill run, we go moving forward. It has been moved and supported to approve the schedule of bills and adopt finance resolution number 26-012, the schedule of bills. Is there any further discussion? Bueller? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
Motion passes 6 with 1 abstention. Thank you.
Mayor, I do want clarification on 200 copies and how, I feel like there's an implication here, and I would like clarification on that if possible.
I have no idea what that means, what that is. Counselor Paulson.
Maybe I would like clarification too, so maybe we should run some records against that on the copier. We can find that out. I'd be happy. That would be fine with me. Thank you.
Okay. Counselor Johnson?
Just curious to know, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Item 8.2 is adopt the resolution to appoint Range Reliable Agency as the city's agent of record.
So move.
Move to approve by Counselor Bachschnider and supported by Counselor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.3, approve the one-year contract with Zoll for the defibrillators/monitors at a cost of $18,298.
So moved.
Support.
Move to approve by Counselor Beyond, supported by Counselor Johnson. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Bachschnider.
Thank you. I just want to confirm this is a budgeted item and where it's coming from.
Yeah, thank you. Budgeted item. No need to explain, but you're welcome to do so, Assistant Chief Jonason.
Yes, I believe it comes out of the repair and maintenance equipment. We budget for it every year. I think this one's a little bit cheaper than past ones because of the age of our cardiac monitors. We no longer get the bumper-to-bumper repair and maintenance. We have a lesser plan, but it is budgeted. You're welcome.
Thank you, Assistant Chief Jonason. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.4, review and approve the annual service contract proposed with Cummings for generator services.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Johnson. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Counselor Motley. Is there further discussion? This is a professional services, is that correct? Correct, this is professional services for maintenance of the generator system. Further discussion, Counselor Counselor Bachschnider.
And budgeted within professional services, thank you.
Actually cheaper than budgeted.
Lovely.
A bright spot in the game. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.5, approve the first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 10 of the City Code of the City of Virginia to add 10.15 regulating electric, assisted bicycles, and motorized foot scooters.
So move.
Support.
Move to approve by Counselor Bachschnider and supported by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Paulson.
So this would be the first reading, is that correct? Okay, I don't know, we haven't even had time to talk about this, so I guess I'd like a little bit of a background of why this got put on here. And I also want to address folks that have handicap wheelchair, or not wheelchairs, but those, like a scooter for handicap accessibility. I'm concerned that this doesn't address that. So before I'd be comfortable, I guess I kind of like to understand who brought this forward, where the changes came from, where the recommendations came from, and the purpose of it. And I do agree there are some dangerous scooters out there.
Well, I think I'll have Chief Benson come up and explain the reason for that. I know the sidewalks has become a raceway for these vehicles, so, on the streets and anyway, Chief Mattson.
Chief.
Mayor and council, this came to apparition, if you want to say, after in Alcott Park, we were having juveniles on the e-bikes, which are defined completely different than a handicap, wheelchair, motorized. They're not even included in the statute. Wherever they can egress or enter or exit from, they are allowed to go. This addresses the e-bikes that go specifically faster than 20 miles per hour. There's different wattages, and they're e-moto bikes. Some of them are capable of up to 60 miles an hour. So this gives ground with the Minnesota statute of 169222 off the top of my head and 225. It specifically designates the different size, who has to wear a helmet, be careful, not reckless, drive on our bike paths. We can at a later date with the parks or alternate areas where you do not want them. Brian from over at the ITMEC has had to yell at the children 3-4 times they were literally mogoing over the grass hills and papa wheeling, if you want to say, and spinning out in the grass on these things. So I felt that it was important to address it because obviously we're getting more and more in town. And with the bike path through, if we set at least the state regulations of, the under 15 to wear a helmet on the e-bike and under 20 miles an hour, we are able to enforce under state law without having the ordinance in place. It's a little harder, so.
Okay, and then so the handicap accessibility is still a protected class, we're not changing anything like that?
Absolutely.
And how about for like folks that do the e-bikes? We don't have a bike lane, we don't have many bike lanes. What would your recommendation be in terms of mobile transportation around without bike lanes?
They are allowed to use our bike path, the Mesabi Trail, obviously announce themselves, honk a horn, make them known if they're approaching an individual walking, and obviously drive in a safe and respectable manner when you are passing walking pedestrians.
Okay, thank you, and I appreciate that. I didn't know where this came from, so now I know and I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
And
Mayor.
there's a state statute, Chief, right, about operating on a public street or highway, certain places have to be far to the right side and yada, yada, yada.
Absolutely.
And yield to the cross for those things. Okay, thank you, Chief. Appreciate it very much. Do we have a motion on the floor in support? Fantastic. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Item 8.6, approve the first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 10 of the City Code of the City of Virginia regarding free roaming. What are they, free roaming what? Cats? The reason I ask you that question, because I scribbled over the goddamn thing right here. So free roaming cats and feeding practices, so thank you.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Motley. Is there support? Is there support? Support by Counselor Johnson. Is there any further discussion? Yeah, Counselor Buckschneider.
Thank you. And I know legal isn't here, so Maddie, I'm not sure if you have an opinion on this, but are we creating any additional liability by not impounding a healthy free roaming cat? Right? So this ordinance talks specifically about healthy free roaming cats. If it's a nuance, if it's not healthy, right? It's not addressing that. So this is creating no additional liability. For those watching at home, she did say no. I just feel like I find it so fascinating that this is where Virginia is just drawing the sand in the line is the cats, man, right? Like we just don't want to deal with the cats. So I don't know if I'll be supporting this one. Thank you.
And I think logistically, the reasons why we're saying cats is because the state statute says we have to deal with dogs. It does not say we have to deal with cats. So that's the reason.
Chief Mattson?
Yeah, if you follow Hibbing, City of Hibbing, Itasca, and Grand Rapids has also followed along. It's helped the free reigning healthy cats actually help a community in a certain way with rodents. And obviously on a case-by-case basis with what's further down the agenda tonight with animal control, it can be when you've got an expert there and, the police department, we can outweigh, like you said, a sick or injured cat. If we need to help, obviously, we're gonna take that into effect, so.
And you only deal with them when you're called upon or you see them. Residents have they use other options in order to mitigate the issues with respect to their feral cats.
Correct, along with canines, dogs as well, the unlicensed roaming. Obviously, we're not on patrol. We occasionally do see one where we'll grab, but nine times out of 10, it's a call through 911 that the animal of whatever particular origin is wandering or unleashed.
Thank you. I just don't want any more delivered to my office. Thank you very much. Okay, has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
No.
Roll call, please.
Beyondich? Bachschnider?
No.
Stelco?
Aye.
Huffy?
As a recommendation from our police department, aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Motley?
Yes.
Paulson?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-1. Thank you. Item 8.10. Discuss the city computer use policy and policy regarding artificial intelligence. Who put this on the agenda? Britt, can you give me a little?
Yes, our insurance company, the League of Minnesota Cities, requires that we annually review our computer policy, and we haven't reviewed it since 2014.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's in there. And then in that timeframe, Counselor Johnson did mention that he wanted to talk about artificial intelligence, which was already in our policy, but we'll talk about it again today, too.
All right, Counselor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. It just came to my attention that when utilizing artificial intelligence to write letters and memos, being very careful not to put in protected information at any level. It can be very easily for someone to say, please write me a letter to Bob Jones at such and such address for this, and all of a sudden, all that possibly protected information comes up and is now part of the global stuff. So I think this is just a good step forward to help guide our staff and make sure that we are protecting the information that we do have within the city. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Counselor Johnson. No motion, no action necessary. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we do have to update the.
We have to make a motion? Okay, looking for a motion to approve.
I will move that we amend the policy with the AI inclusion.
Okay, motion by Counselor Johnson. Is there support? By Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Bachschnider.
Thank you. Once that amended language is in there, will we be reviewing and approving again, or are we just going forward with it?
It was already in there. It was in there in the last in 24.
Okay.
So the only updates that are in here now was I think I took out floppy disk and just a few other small words that weren't any pertinent anymore.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries.
And Mayor, if I may, I just want to give a cautionary, since we have a lot of staff here too. Any artificial intelligence that you do use that does store that information is subject to data practice request. So if there's a data practice request that asks for information that you may have Googled in ChatGPT or use Google AI or Gemini or whatever, that could be subject to search too.
If they made a pill for that, I'd like to take one.
Me too.
Okay, thank you. We voted on that, so okay. Let's move to item number 8.11 is approve the request for expenditures for National Night Out.
So moved.
A move to approve by Counselor Johnson. Is there support? Is there support?
Support.
Support by Counselor Paulson. Further discussion. How much are we asking here?
What kind of national night out do we want?
Do we know what the number was?
It's generally 4,000, 4,500 depending. I mean, it's a lot more than the 1,200 as I mentioned in my non-AI generated letter to you guys. That it's about $1,200 that were allotted, and that covers hot dogs and buns barely. And we do a lot more than that, so.
Okay. Counselor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. I think this is, National Night Out is always a very well-attended event. A lot of the folks that come are from Virginia, as these events occur in a lot of cities. And it's just a way for people, usually the folks that come are in need of services, and the opportunity for local organizations to provide advertisement for those services is tremendous. And it's a great community interaction, well worth a $1,200 investment for what it gets back into the community.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor, and I know we're in a spending freeze, but to me, this is about outreach and public safety, and part of that is National Night Out and getting the officers out in the community to be in the public, it's just another face, it's an availability time. It's just a really good time, in my opinion, for our officers to engage with our community members, as well as, the expense that goes with it. I mean, in my opinion, it's worth it. It is a budgeted item. It's currently in the 2026 budget, is it not? So we're not going above and beyond. It is a budgeted item. And I know we are in a spending freeze, but I do feel that this is something important in terms of public safety and awareness. And if people need resources, that's part of what this night is about. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you. National Night Out used to be what called?
Here in town, or?
Neighborhood Watch?
Yep.
All those kind of
Much
things?
different, but yeah, similar.
Much different. And all these people are looking forward to hosting events at their homes and businesses throughout the lake. So there's $1,200 budgeted right now?
Yeah, which again, does not nearly cover it.
Well,
I would like to point out real quick, Mayor, too, that what we always use is whatever we have left over as far as condiments and hot dogs and buns. We carry over into September when we have Recovery Night Out, as you guys know, which is another very important night that we hold in Alcott. So again, we're able to use it for both of the events.
okay, so I will challenge the people in the community, whether it's businesses or citizens, to donate a little bit extra money for National Night Out. It's a very important thing, where neighbors get together, talk about crime and the issues for the police are here all over the place. So I will give you $500, and I challenge everybody else to donate something to you to supplement that $1,200 that you have.
I appreciate that.
Counselor Bachschnider.
Thank you. I agree. I think that it's fine. I would ask, though, that, and this is for all staff, that for the 2027 budget, that we just budget appropriately, right? So we're not having this discussion. But like we did mention just now, it is above and beyond what's in the budget. But when we're talking about a few $1,000s, and in a consent agenda, we approve almost $200,000 with no discussion. I think that's a little silly, so thank you.
For the record, the other day I got a hold of Britt to make sure I could order a new flag for the public safety building, because as a Marine veteran, it drives me nuts that it's tattered at this point. So I double checked to make sure I was good to go. We got a new flag coming, Mayor.
Well, if you need another one, I've got some in my garage.
I appreciate
That'll
that.
fly
These are big
high.
ones, though.
This is a big one.
All right, good to know.
Okay, it can't fit in my house, so I had to downsize. Okay, so it has been moved and supported, is that correct? Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilor. Hey, thank you to our fire and EMS folks, too. We do
Yes, sir.
appreciate you guys. Seriously, keep it up.
All right. Okay, let's move to item 8.12, and it's to review and approve the contract with Charlie's Rescue for domesticated animals in need of shelter and care.
So moved.
Have that in your packet. Moved to approve by Councilor Johnson. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Councilor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Bachschnider.
Thank you. I did read this, but for the good of the public, can somebody please do a summary of what we are voting on? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. What do we have? Chief? You're batting fourth again. Okay. Thanks for coming up. Appreciate it. I know we've had some discussions with Hibbing for animal control. There's some issues that they're working out there moving forward. The same vendor that's been working has come to us, and it appears as though we have an opportunity here that may be a resolution to some degree for some animal control. Chief Mattson.
Yes, the mayor and I and the city did meet with Hibbing, City of Hibbing, and their personnel. Obviously, they're running the animal shelter, the city is. We tried to come to a resolution there, just it did not work. There was some lack of information shared for budget items on the individual that bid for us. They are willing to work with us on a yearly basis. It's close to town, willing to do the animal control. It's an individual that has a vast array of knowledge with an animal shelter rescue situation, has many contacts with rescues and adoption agencies, has a 501c3. They have a board upcoming, and in line with a vet tech. Detective Swenson is in the back if I am not completely, I guess, answering all the questions, but they prorated for the end of this year. Obviously, it is almost July 1st. The prices were in there for a full year service, and I recommended we have our old canine squad that is, it's not in shambles, it's still an operating vehicle, but maybe donate that to them or sell it for a nominal cause, so there is a vehicle there. They are willing to do a certain hour of animal shelter or animal control in our community and do the follow-up on the non-emergency calls where that vehicle would be available for them to transport animals during that time when needed. So with that being said, like I said, we've kind of, with the happenings in town, I'm not gonna demeanor anybody or make negative statements up here. What we had was not working, and I think this is a very viable solution. I trust all the parties that are running the operation, and they've dotted their I's and crossed their T's, and I would really like to see it, I guess, approved to try. There is also option later in the future. Obviously, we're gonna give it a trial run here, not a trial run, but they are looking to expand to potentially open to the public at a later time as well.
Okay, thank you, Chief. You just stand for questions if necessary. Councilor Bachschnider, then over to Councilor Motley. Councilor Bachschnider.
Thank you, and thanks for that overview, Chief. I appreciate it. To play devil's advocate for a second, if you don't mind. So as we've continued to really not have conversations with the Humane Society, and I fully understand due to the cost, the council has been told that we are meeting our minimum state statute requirements, and that's been without doing any sort of out service of any kind. So then, if that's the case, why do we need to do this?
I have quite a few phone a friends, and those options are pretty much out of service. The mandated times we've had to house an animal. I've been fortunate that I have friends that are able and licensed to do that. We have to sign with somebody. It's just, we cannot host the animals ourselves. We have to have a place to put them. And obviously, with adoption and rescue and the parameters of the state statutes and animal control, we have an animal control, if you want to say, aspect in the previous contract. That was not being done either. So, like I said, with the animal licensing for revenue, the cat licensing, this is something that needs to be done. My department has gone out of their way to try to stay within statute boundaries, and we were being patient here while the city was trying to work out a contract. I can't sustain it, my department can't just, sustain that anymore. I have not burnt bridges, and I'm grateful for the friends I have that are able to house animals, and I just think this is a viable and a very affordable option where it covers us liability-wise, statute-wise, and we're gonna have a relationship there that I hope lasts for several years and is gonna grow into something bigger and better for our community.
Thank you, Chief, and I anticipated that to be the answer, but I just wanted it said out loud. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Counselor Bachschnider. Counselor Motley.
Thank you, Chief, for the information. Appreciate it. So it looks like this contract's going to start August 1st, pending the council approving it, and then through December 31st for, let's see, $16,700 for the remaining portion of the year. Do you know, just out of curiosity, have they expressed any interest that they'd be willing to maintain the $40,000 in 2027 if the council was on board, or is that not even a topic of discussion yet?
That, I believe, was, am I speaking out of my term? Detective Swenson?
Come forward, Detective.
Mayor, council members, the price that we proposed, that's going to be the price that we want to either maintain, depending on how things grow. I'd actually like to see a decrease. But for right now, being a startup business, that's kind of where we're at.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Detective Swenson, you have some more questions, Counselor Motley?
Not for you, but thank you. Megan, what did we have budgeted
Thanks.
for this year for animal control that we did not use?
$65,000.
Okay, so just curious. Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Yep, thank you. So it has been moved and supported, correct? Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8.12, the Personnel Committee that was held on June 22nd, 2026. I'll turn this over to the Chair of the Personnel Committee, Counselor Paulson. Counselor Paulson?
Are you really
Or do you want me to do
it? Go ahead.
Or Counselor, let's have a member of the Personnel Committee there. Be okay? All right.
I'm happy to
Counselor
do
Bachschnider.
it. I'm agreeing, I'm a little brain dead as well, but the most recent packet that Pam sent out does include the minutes. This meeting just took place yesterday morning. The first agenda that was on the Personnel Committee was 8.12A, review the proposed Employee Retirement Incentive Plan, ERIP. And so there was discussion for early retirement, what we could offer, what that would look like. It was noted that there's up to 10 employees that are potentially eligible to participate. And I'm trying to summarize here. The majority of these members are in MAPE, but they do go across all of our unions. Some guidelines around, and Britt, I don't know if you want to jump in with they either have to be a certain number of years with the city of Virginia or para-eligible. How many years do that?
We landed on 20.
20 years, perfect, thank you. So the motion that was made, it was moved by Counselor Bachschnider, supported by Counselor Bionich, to direct staff to include the recommended language in the ERIP proposal and bring the plan for the early retirement incentive to the full council for review. So at this point, I don't believe have that full language since it was just yesterday we had this discussion. So just directing city staff to bring to the council for review. So I don't believe there's any further action that needs to be taken at this meeting tonight. Is that correct? Okay, thank you.
I believe the council has been given a draft copy, so it's just for discussion.
Is
Can't
the
expect
draft
any-
copy, the newest draft copy in here?
Did you put it in there? Yep.
Oh.
But I
not
don't
gonna
expect
lie.
anybody saw it yet.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I read my packets on the weekends. If
Yeah,
it came
I-
last night, I did not
I don't
read it.
expect anybody saw it yet, so I plan to talk about it next meeting. Yes, yep.
Okay, so I would say let's table 2 more weeks, if that's all right. The next one was to review the Live Barn contract. I know, Counselor Paulson, this was something that you had brought up. I don't know if you want to just do a quick summary of what we discussed.
Sure. So at the Live Barn, the Live Barn contract is at the Iron Trail Motors Event Center. It's a live camera that runs, I don't know if it's east, west, north, south, but it runs up and down the arena. And we had a potential question regarding subscribers that are paying for a subscription. Do they have access to the Iron Trail Motors Event Center Live Barn cameras 24/7? Or do they just have it during subscription? It's times when they would be events happening. And the answer we received was that subscribers only have access to content that is event-centric. So I was comfortable with that. The city has additionally, we have 3 user licenses, so our city staff can log in, and the Live Barn actually it's on 24/7, so we discussed maybe shutting that off at specific times. Some of the skating, one of the skating coaches had discussed privacy when testing, and just privacy in general, that not have a live access to it. And so we also, in the meeting was our Human Resources Coordinator, Joy, and Joy discussed part of that safety, like who's got access to this, how we want to protect people in the building as well as our staff using it. So potentially there might be coming up with a policy in the near future regarding any and all buildings that have camera access and employees usage of that. So that's all we have on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Paulson. 8.12C was to discuss completion of Department of Transportation inspection for city equipment. At the most recent, Labor Management Committee, thank you, Joy. We discussed the DOT inspections, and it had come up as a concern that these weren't necessarily getting done on time. A lot of that is due to a lot of our fire, EMS, and police taking priority over other city vehicles. But in the discussion, it sounded like that the majority of them, if not all of them, are up to date now. But just something that we want to keep as a council on our radar and continue to talk about. 8.12D was to discuss the impact of proposed budget reductions on AFSCME represented positions. The Personnel Committee did go into closed session to have this discussion, and no further action was taken outside of closed session. And then under other items of concern, the Personnel Committee did discuss further the fire, police, and EMS conversation that we had this evening. No further action items from that meeting. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Boxsnyder. So we'll move to your recommendation with respect to the resolution regarding hiring the police officers. That was. It was not at personnel. No, but I mean, we talked, you mentioned the police, you mentioned some other things.
Yesterday, we just talked about what we talked about at the beginning of this meeting.
Yeah.
We did not have this resolution at personnel to review, so this is new.
Okay, this is new. It was brought into us tonight, so that we have a resolution before us, and I'm asking the council to consider this resolution dated June 23rd, 2026, the resolution of approving the hire of a patrol officer for the city of Virginia, whereas the police department has expressed the need to hire patrol officers, and whereas applications have been received by the police department and human resources staff for the position, and whereas the interview committee recommends the following candidate to be offered a patrol officer position Mason Splitschel.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Motley. Is there support? By Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Mayor, may I make one more motion before we move on?
Absolutely.
Thank you. This goes back from our discussion on creating a potential task force. I don't know how the wording should read on that, but I would love to get started on a potential task force ASAP or as soon as you guys can. So if you guys want to help me with the wording on that, but I'd like to make a motion to begin a task force to start exploring, we might not be able to get to Medicare, Medicaid, but whatever that might, should we call it a shared, or should we call it a taxing district? I mean, I don't want to scare people. Taxing district would work. Okay, so I'm sorry.
Well, I think maybe,
Regional collaboration.
Collaboration. Say it again for the old girl. Okay, did you get that, Pam?
Are you still calling it a task force? I
Oh,
had,
I like.
no, I think we call it,
Is a bylaws different for a committee and a task force, or are the rules different for a committee, a formal committee, or?
I almost see this being set up like labor management committee or safety committee, right? Like, I don't know how you set those up, but I
So
almost
it
see
would
that
be
be
a structured committee.
I think a committee, but a task force sounds a little intense.
well, we did this on the metro area. We called it a shared services committee. So we met as a shared services committee with respect to police and fire and looked at how those services could be shared, like with law enforcement, but this particularly could apply to fire department too, where you're looking to share the services that you have and the services you do share, you're sharing with other communities, and you're meeting with these other communities. And I think we can look at what was that charge when the former chief was here. He had made a presentation at Tower, and I can't remember what that was called. I was there at that meeting, and it was very fruitful and very amenable to the people up there in Greenwood Township, et cetera. It didn't come to anything because of the costs associated with that, but there was a mission there where they were discussing potential collaboration and the ability for the ALS ambulance service to provide services to the Tower area at a cost to the taxpayers. So it was like a shared services issue, but I don't know. Call what you like.
Deputy Chief Jonason said.
Yeah, what was your recommendation there, Chief?
Pam collected that.
no, I did not get it, sorry.
Well, let's just have make a.
How about simply sustainability study? Like, let's keep it vague and open, like, we can look every direction with the guys.
That's the motion. That
I-
Deputy Chief Jonason said.
Well, judging, I know this is kind of convoluted, but judging from, speaking from experience, if we're going to do some a collaboration with other entities, we have to be inviting where we're actually collaborating.
Well, this is just to have a committee, I think, right now, here, and then we can go out and divide and conquer. I mean, I think that's my initial thought process. I don't know if
I see.
an additional, is that, I want a consensus, I don't want to do
I
this
think,
on my own.
yeah, I do think step A is to keep this internal and maybe in the future add a task force, and that's when you go external. But committee feels internal, right? Like, this is who is going to be directed or have the authority to come back to council with options for what to do going forward. Does that make, am I on par? Yeah? Okay. So then, like, the
Sounds
committee
great.
would include Freddie, EJ, probably one or two counselors, like labor management, like safety, right, like these other ones do. Probably some of our staff from LELS and IAFF, and then we would collaborate and come up with some sort of proposal to bring back to council. Probably Britt, Megan, right, Joy.
You were talking about police, fire, and ambulance?
What are you talking about?
Well, I would probably say this is more about ambulance
That's what I think.
than
That's fine with me.
anything. I don't know that fire,
No, I agree, ambulance is, should be
I
the
think it's
focus.
ambulance.
I should be
more.
focused, yeah, on ambulance.
Because that's the revenue side, the rest is cost of doing business, so. Okay, Pam, I'm sorry. It's been a long meeting.
okay.
Thank you.
So, to develop a committee to acquire information for regionalization and funding options for an ambulance service, right?
Wonderful. That's the motion.
And then are we assigning the council people tonight?
Okay, so it's moved by who?
Support.
Counselor Paulson makes the motion and is supported immediately by Counselor Bachschnider. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Counselor Paulson. We'll move to item 9, Commission Liaison Reports. Does any?
Mr. Mayor,
Oh, yeah, what?
can I?
How? Well,
Like to assign you.
I'll serve.
I'll do it.
Perfect.
I'll serve. I have some experience in that regard, if that's okay, unless somebody else wants to. Counselor Bachschnider's one.
I think two of us make sense at
Who else?
least, yeah.
Did you want to sit?
I was just going to make the motion to support the mayor and Counselor Bachschnider to those positions.
Everybody amenable to that? Okay. I'm willing. You're willing? Okay, moved by Counselor Motley, supported by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, item 9, Commission Liaison Reports. Anyone have a Commission Liaison report they'd like to give? Counselor Bachschnider?
We are hosting interviews tomorrow for the new airport manager position, so hopefully some good news within the next few weeks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 10, Department Head Reports. We'll move from left to right. Britt, anything else to report tonight? Pam, anything with respect to the election judges?
Yes.
Thank
Well,
you.
Election judges, I've got those. Thank you tonight for approving them. Just to let everybody know, absentee voting does start Friday. But this year, the city will not be doing absentee voting in the city hall until 18 days before the election. And at that time, it'll be like regular voting, and it's early voting, and you can submit your ballot right into the machine. And if you do want to absentee vote at that time, or if you come to City Hall, you can get an application online, City Hall, or request one by mail. And then once we get the applications, then we'll process them like we normally do through the SBRS system, and then mail them back. But we will not have any on-site voting starting Friday through 18 days before the election, which I believe is July 19th.
So we're not sending ballots out to every citizen in Virginia?
No, we do not have mail voting.
Very little humor there. Okay, thank you. Megan?
I wish we did.
Anything to add?
Oh, nothing else tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Jenny from Community Planning, anything? Any updates? Fence? No.
We are anxiously awaiting a fence. Yes, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
The only update I have is that we are running some numbers in the department based on some conversations last year on permit fees to see where we're at, 6 months in, just to get that information to you. We're still working on that. We don't have a lot of numbers for some of the information because the processes haven't yet started. They should be starting here in the next couple months. So just wanted to make you aware that there's some work that's being done to provide you that information as requested.
Okay, thank you. Next item, council reports. Department, yes. Come on forward. Assistant Chief Jonason, I was remiss and I apologize for that. Updates, Assistant Chief Jonason.
Well, that's okay. I think this is the first time I've had a report since becoming deputy chief.
Way to go.
Tom here, one of our engineers, he put together an annual report for 2025 that he'd like to present to the council, and just give you a quick overview of it. So with that.
Okay,
Thank you. Again, Tom. Thanks, Mayor, Council, and city staff. I'll keep it brief, I promise. It is a very large report. I highly encourage you guys to take a look at it. It gives a little bit more of the what's done behind closed doors a little bit. Again, this is the first report that we've kind of put together as a joint report from both the local 390 and the fire department direct. We also plan to make this public so that the community can see it as well and kind of be a little bit more transparent as the city's been working on. So I'm just going to summarize a couple things in there, a couple bullet points. There's a letter from Chief in there that discusses his aspects in there. As far as the local 390, just wanted to point out we had a very successful year this year, raised $6,000 for MDA, $2,481.62 for the Shop with the Cop, the Stuff the Ambulance event that we work on, as well as 826 toys that went to the Salvation Army this year. On page 5, underneath the highlights, I did just want to touch base. I know Chief gave a long discussion about ISO ratings, but we continue this year to take pride in the fact that we are an ISO rating of 3 here in this community. And just to kind of put this out there, that Virginia Fire is also tied with Duluth Fire Department with the highest rating in the region, north of the Twin Cities, on our side of the town, of the state.
Congratulations.
And that obviously directly relates to keeping our insurance rates low for our community. Couple years of service recognitions in there that are very important. Battalion Chief Puffs, Kevin Puffs, hit 25 years with the department this year. That's huge. Deputy Chief Jonason hit his 20 years this year, which is amazing. Lieutenants Justin Rutt and Zach Yurchek, and Senior Engineers Will Fisher and Liz Smith hit their 10 years this year. It's also very important to note that those 4 were also some of the very first single roles that started with the city, and have obviously gone on to be very successful. Quickly on page 9 is just a quick summary of kind of the calls over the last few years. This year breaks down a little bit more on what types of calls we're running: mutual aid given, mutual aid received. And just to put it out there, so we typically staff daily between 4 and 6 ambulances to meet the demand and the call overlap percentage. Chief Jonason's obviously going to talk a little bit more about that. Skipping a little bit ahead, again, trying to keep it brief. It's been a long meeting for y'all. Going to page 12, again, just long summary of the Sprint Medic program. What it is, kind of what we're doing. Again, it runs through at least June of 2027. And this has been really a good process that's been ongoing, and improving the cohesion with a lot of the different services in the region.
I have a question on Sprint Medical.
Yes, sir.
So this goes to end of 2027, correct?
It goes to June of 2027.
June of 2027, and when it goes to June of 2027, if the Sprint Medical isn't picked up or renewed by the state legislature, all the equipment that's been done stays with the fire EMS department here in Virginia, correct?
That is my understanding, yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
So another huge aspect that's really important to us at the VFD, on page 13, is our training. The last couple of years, we've really tried hard, especially with the new public service building, is becoming kind of a regional asset and a host to a lot of trainings. So this year we hosted a lot of classes with both the Minnesota State Fire Service Board, U.S. Fire Administration, the State Fire Marshal's Office. There's a whole bunch that are listed in there, the different certifications and stuff we held. On top of that, total hours were roughly about 5,500 total hours of training that was completed, which equates to about 145 hours per person on the department. It's pretty substantial undertaking that we continually go over. And as you can see, some of the on-shift and in-house trainings that we do are listed as well. Little information on the fleet, just to kind of give you guys an update of where our fleet's at, mileage-wise, hours-wise, age, and that kind of stuff. Won't cover a lot on that. That's for you guys to review when you want, if you want. Again, talking about some of the extra resources that we do provide to the region. Minnesota Urban Search and Rescue Task Force 2. In '25, we did welcome 10 new members to the team, with one of them being in Virginia Fire, which I'm the lucky one that got to join that team. It's been an impressive process, and a lot of training has gone into that. With that, there's been a major influx of new equipment, really high-tech equipment that comes into our region that's been a part of this program through the state, as well as creating an immense relationship with the departments that are involved with that. Another huge aspect of resource that we provide to the area is our emergency response team that's in coordination with the sheriff's office. So if you weren't aware of that, we do provide the SWAT paramedics, the SWAT medics to the team. And as a part of that, it's been going on for quite a while. We added 2 additional paramedic members to that team this last year, with a couple positions still open that we're integrating now. They went through a pretty extensive process down at Camp Ripley to be trained into that. As a part of that, we also receive our annual respiratory testing for free from the county for that, so that's a cost reduction for us, as well as they were the ones that give us the access to the ATV that we use throughout the year. Very last section is just a quick photo book of some of the photos that were taken of the team throughout the year. It was an absolute honor to be able to work on this with the team and with the folks on the department. And the last section that I wanted to talk about was actually an extension a little bit of what Councilor Bachschneider said with the Minnesota State Fire Marshal's Office doing the fire service assessment. A week ago, we were a host to one of the town hall meetings here in Virginia. I was lucky enough to be a part of that. We were the only full-time career department that was present. There was an extension of both paid on call and volunteers. And one of the most striking things that came out of it to me was the last question. The last question was from the State Fire Marshal's Office was, based on your current model of delivery, of service delivery, meaning paid on call, full-time, or volunteer, what do you believe, or do you believe you are sustainable for the next 30 years? We were the only department that said yes. All the other departments that were there said no. So I just wanted to put that out there. I think it's a great resource for you guys to reference. There's a whole bunch of more meetings that are going on. So the big portion of that is to go towards legislative improvement at the state level. It's the first of its kind throughout the nation, and I think we have potential there. If you have any questions, feel free and ask them. If not, you can ask any time down the road. I really appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you very much. I'm going to be reviewing this significantly along with the Q1 and Q2 reports, and I probably will have some questions. I'll stop by and see y'all. Chief Jonason.
I'll be even briefer. I handed out to you reports from Q1 and Q2 of 2026. Q2, I know we're a little bit early on it, but I was making a lot of reports, so I just felt I should. Moving forward, you'll see these come from us quarterly. Looking at it, it's just a brief breakdown, couple pages of what we've done that month. Incidents responded to, fires, overlapping calls. Those are calls where we've had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 calls, all within the same time, overlapping. Average response times, 90th percentile times, which are a key standard in the fire service. So 90% of the time, you're getting dispatched and arriving on scene in that set amount. As you can see, for Q1, it was 15 minutes and 48 seconds. That seems long at face value, but remember, we do respond out 650 square miles. That's not just within the city of Virginia. Within the city of Virginia, it's right around 6 minutes from time of dispatch to on scene, and that's for all calls. But please look through it. If there's any information in there that you're curious about that's not included, let me know. I do have a wide variety of ports I can add in there. And again, if you have questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, give me a call, shoot me an email, shoot me a text, or chief, we're around. But unless there's any other questions, I'll let you get to it and get on with your evening.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you all. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for sticking around all this time, and once again, thank you for your service. Counselor Motley.
Thank you. I guess I just had a couple questions since I was looking at this and listening. So you guys said that we did a bunch of certification classes hosted. Do they rent our facility when they do that, or is that for free?
Typically, that's hosted by us.
Right.
Currently, we are not charging that I know of. The course itself is charged through whoever the host agency is. We're not actually a training facility, but we're hosting the facility as a part of it.
So if we're giving up our space for free, does that mean that we can get the classes for free for our personnel?
Yeah, I was just gonna comment to that. There is a in-kind or horse trade. So when we hosted the inspector class, we did get a couple of people tuition for free that we didn't have to pay for the class in exchange for, letting them host the regional certification class.
Perfect, thank you. And then just one other thing, just because this is very nicely put together, and then I'm thinking as you're presenting, so I'm sorry to keep you here longer.
Oh, no, that's okay.
So the Sprint Medic program, so let's just say somebody's sick that's supposed to service our area. Are they pulled off the Sprint Medic program, or are you paying overtime to the area around here, and then the Sprint Medic program continues on?
So we designed and set up our Sprint Medic program to operate primarily with off-duty staff. So that off-duty staff is on overtime, running those Sprint Medic calls and those hours. In return, those hours, then I send a report every payroll to Brianna. She invoices St. Louis County, they pay us, then they get the money back from the state. So all those hours are paid for. If there is a sick call, or if we do have a shortage on the Sprint Medic, we try to cover it. If we have enough staff and it doesn't drop us below our minimum staffing, we will cover it with on-duty staff. And again, those on-duty hours are reimbursed by the Sprint Medic program. So I ended up covering a Sprint Medic shift a couple weeks ago. So essentially, my duty day was paid for by the state of Minnesota.
Gotcha, okay, thank you. Thanks for all you do, appreciate it.
Thank you,
Mayor.
you're welcome.
Well, thank you, Counselor Paulson, then Counselor Johnson, and Counselor Paulson. Counselor Johnson.
Thank you. What is no appropriate choice on the second page at the bottom? I know what all the other ones are.
That is the catch-all when you get a really oddball call that doesn't fit any other call categories.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Paulson.
Thank you. The only question I have is, this is awesome, appreciate it. Do you want to just do a PDF and email us too, like quarterly stuff, so that we can?
Yeah, moving forward, I'll
see that?
email it quarterly for
And
the
I
agenda.
think this is just a fantastic way to show what has gone on through the year. I really do. And maybe put that out on, we put that on the website? Do you
Yeah,
know?
it's planned to put out on our Facebook pages as well as an e-doc. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
if we can get it onto the city website, that would work
I would
great
totally
too.
encourage that, and thank you for doing that. And I love the financials, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And good luck.
Yeah, moving forward, I will get these to Pam much sooner, so they're on the agenda, and you have time to digest what you're looking at. And so, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay,
I have one additional thing, Mayor. It'll only take
Pam.
1 second. I
Pam.
just remembered.
Pam.
We do have to change our council meeting in August because of the election. The primary election is the 11th, and that's the second Tuesday. So Monday would work if that's amenable to everybody.
Could
That would be the 10th, August.
Could it be later, like 5:30 on Monday? Is that an option? Or I work? No?
Doesn't matter, whatever you want to do.
I can't, well, okay,
We can just cancel it.
we'll figure it out. Okay, Monday, what day?
I can Monday, August 10th. I am unavailable Wednesday for the rest of the week, so Monday would be my preference.
I will actually be out of town. So you can have it whenever you'd like to.
Yeah, I'm supposed to work in, well. No.
I'll be out of town, but go ahead.
No, keep it Monday, keep it Monday, I'll figure it out. So Monday, the August the 10th at 5:30 PM? We need a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Counselor Martin makes the motion to change the August council meeting from August 11th to August 10th at 5:30 PM, which is also a change in time. Is there support?
Support.
By Counselor Bach-Schneider. Further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Counselor Motley?
One more thing, since we just approved this contract with the Animal Services, per the chief's recommendation, is it necessary for us to meet on Monday with the Mesabi Humane Society? Because now I'm thinking I'm not going to be there anymore.
Well, that's fine. No, we don't have to meet with them. I will by just alone.
Okay, I don't think I'm going to show up anymore.
Just hear what they
for
have to say.
Pam's.
And not necessary for the council to be there. It's not a negotiation session. It's just another repeat of the services that are being provided. Maybe it's another pitch or whatever, but I'll go. I made the commitment at the end of the 29th. We'll hear what they have to say. Okay, that be all right? Okay, all right. Council reports. I have one council report. I have one council report, if I may.
Oh, of course. Go ahead.
Thank you. It's just, I'm going to read it because I wrote it. Let's see. Okay. Okay, here we go. It is a sad day when such an iconic family-run business for over 100 years is closing its doors. Not one business, but two. Grandy's Ace Hardware and Virginia Floral. These are huge losses to Virginia and to Chestnut Street. The Buskey family and the Ralston family, the mainstays and their employees, always had warm welcomes for everybody when you first entered the store. If you needed something, Grandy's had it. I think a good motto for Grandy's was, if we don't have it, you don't need it. So I wish them well in their retirement, and they'll be sorely missed, along with the Ralston family, who donate so much of their time to the general public and the community. It's just been, it just saddens me that this is happening, but I did stop down and to see John at Grandy's Ace Harbor, and I'll be going to see Mary Jo Ralston as well. Councilor Beyondis was there at Grandy's Ace Harbor too, and it was a sad time for all of us. And what's going to happen? I mean, shop local, shop small. You know, they just couldn't compete. And John, you know, this is his time to go, and couldn't sell the business, and so here we are today, and it's a very sad time for all of us. But I wish them all well. What are we going to do with our downtown businesses now? You're never going to find businesses like that for that many years, passing it down from generation to generations moving forward. So congratulations to all of them. It's a huge loss for all of us. So, Councilor Bach-Schneider.
Thank you, Mayor. I would echo what you said. I have two things tonight in council reports. First, I just want to say congratulations and thank you to Boys Fort, who opened a new business downtown Virginia, where they have dental, pharmacy, and behavioral health healthcare services there. And my second report is the Arrowhead Coalition of Trails Community Engagement Meeting is on June 25th in Virginia at the Klein Cupoletti Building from 6 to 8 p.m. And these meetings are being held to share information and gather input and interest from across the Iron Range about the Trail Town concept. So if that's an area of interest for you, I would definitely encourage you to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Bachschnider. Okay, Councilor Beyondich.
Thank you for mentioning Boys Fourth. That was my home for 23 years. Walking into it, I was totally amazed at what they transformed that building into. So big congratulations to them and for revitalizing 2 business buildings on the main street.
Yes, thank you. And another new business right next door in the old Colosimo Patch and Aronson and County building also coming in, some kind of a wellness center. So we hope to see that moving forward. So longtime businesses moving out, new businesses coming in. And I know that the Virginia Foundation is doing their very best to court new investment in downtown. So thank you for you and what you guys do over there. Okay, anything else to come before the council meeting before we adjourn? I mean, okay. We will now adjourn the longest city council meeting I've been to in a long time, to our next council meeting, which is scheduled for July 14, 2026 at 4 p.m. Thank you, everybody. Thanks to the fire and EMS people for being here and for standing strong for this community. We stand adjourned. Good night.